Do you out there shave your head?
No.
Because you could.
You guys are live.
Are we live?
We are.
Yeah.
Tell them they're live.
He doesn't know.
Hell
We'll do
no!
it live.
Hell no!
Telling him too.
No, I did whisper pre-show, and y'all were having a conversation. I couldn't interrupt.
We were talking about awesome figure stuff.
Yeah. We're talking about action figures.
It's Animexcellence
We're talking about
related.
the Wolverine.
I'm just.
97 coming to a theater near you.
I like to make sure that I'm not just interrupting conversations
No, I get
that
it.
seem good.
I mean, that's what. I mean, that's
Spinning
what I
bird
do.
kick.
And then, I mean, usually Tommy and Gertz are just fucking run away with it. It's like,
Do you guys have water?
Gertz, have you.
Thank you, please.
Gertz, do you like muffins? Yeah, Tommy. I
Superior
like
tech.
muffins.
Sorry. Now I got Marvel's
for a
Capcom on my
fact.
head.
You know how I feel about toys. Nothing. It's like,
These are. He's more of the bedroom toy type of guy.
especially not there. No, I'm kidding. Nah, man.
He plays his cars there specifically.
It's just, how do I describe it? I just, like, I look at it, I see people having joy. I like to support your joy, but I get nothing. Nada. No dice.
I like the cool toys that you can do stuff with, like RC cars and stuff like that.
I don't touch. Nah, I'm good.
It's brand new. It's less
No. It's okay,
He says
though.
to play
It's
with
okay. I like to
Wolverine.
look. It's the. I'm good. I'm good. I
Play
like
with
to-
my Logan, he says.
Logan!
I'm okay. I'm appreciated.
My
Though.
James Howlett.
I can't do it. Nah.
Germaphobe when it comes to toys.
What
Just
are you
toys.
collectibles are you into?
Well, cards. If I had some.
Everyone touches cards.
It's not
no,
about touching.
it's not about touching.
Is it specific cards? Like is there like a Yu-Gi-Oh thing or a
I could
baseball
do
thing?
Yu-Gi-Oh! I have Pokemon cards.
Okay.
At my home crib.
Just like those.
Well, I mean that's
That's not the reason why.
You
It's
can
just-
sleeve cards.
Yeah.
it's part of it, but not the main reason. I just don't like them. But also, they're too precious. And so for me, I'm like, why would you want a hater touching your toys?
I can kind of get that.
Make you pay me $25 if you break it.
I said, I won't it won't break. The motherfucker will just permanently frown.
It'll just.
Like
What are you doing to people's toys?
Like some Toy Story shit.
Toys?
No.
This is some Toy Story 3 shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking Aqua Teen. That one of us.
Oh, the
Jiggling.
the depressed toy. I forgot his name, but he had like
Happy Time
diabetes or
Harry?
something. Yeah, Happy Time Harry.
That's my whole
He
thing.
had the knife in his fucking hand.
Motherfucker will be like, he hated us. We always knew. I'm like, I'm good. I don't want to touch you. But
I
I
just don't feel like jiggling anymore.
You're the opposite of Sid.
yeah.
He just would never be on Robot Chicken. That's all he's saying.
No, Robot Chicken's different. That'd be funny. Like I could do some voices.
Yeah, but you got to touch the toys to make the
well,
move.
The actors people will do that.
They have a power glove that moves them for them. I'm for real. Like they rigged up an actual NES power glove.
Did they really?
Yeah, to do a lot of the basic movements.
Have you
Like,
ever
a lot
seen
of the
Seth
stuff that
Green's
they-
toy setup, by the way?
No.
No.
He put magnets in their feet specifically so like when you're done messing with them, they can stand up on their own without
that's
any
awesome.
issues. He's like, you can just grab them, play with them, and put them back. Like
So-
I don't really care if you mess with them or not. Like it's just easy to put them back if they have magnets in their feet.
Would Seth have the biggest toy collection in. How long has it been since a Blackcellence? You're supposed to sit in that chair once a month at least.
Nah, dude. Hey, first of all, there's been one recently.
Somebody said your hair looks nice, TJ, so that's cool.
I appreciate
Got
it.
that going for you.
You know, so normally when I get a haircut, I get a bald fade and just chop it off. And I said, you know what? Let me actually use my hair and do something with it. So, thank you.
I'm sure you got
You
a bat
look
symbol.
like a running back.
What an oddly specific thing to say.
He's not wrong. Yeah,
I guess it's the chain, yeah.
but I'm not trying to be injured that quickly. I like my knees. But thank you so much for the compliment, Tina. I hope you're doing well. I don't know. Sorry, y'all. I've been stuck in work meetings. Like,
No, I get it.
It's rough.
I was stuck in a work meeting on accident because they weren't supposed to invite me to it.
I had the reverse problem.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was supposed to be invited to it, and I was like, this meeting's like 30 minutes late.
Well,
and I haven't gotten shit.
The worst part about the meeting was about them being like, you all get extra money because of something we did wrong, except for you, Mike. You're not even supposed to be here. I was like, what the fuck? Okay, fine.
I get those as emails. Like when COVID happened, they were like, we're sending out everyone like a care package, except for you, Austin. We don't like you. Everyone in the California office is getting
it's
a
just
care
like, fuck you
package.
guys.
Fucking West Coast bias.
Oh, there's a lot of that.
No,
Their
they-
Christmas parties in fucking Disneyland. We didn't even have a Christmas party last year.
We have a couple things here and there. Like that's a weird. Yeah, it's a weird one that you have different sides of the thing. What's funny is all of my team is in California except for me. So no one can cover my shift since I work at 6 a.m.
I would say that like it's wherever your headquarters is
Yeah,
what makes the
that's-
delta. Because my team's in Boston, and like they're doing like our quarterly business review stuff.
Okay.
Q3 just ended. Yes.
Yes.
So after the stressor that's Q3,
Look at all the businessmen here today.
business. Is this working?
Business. I'm poor, but it's like, no, they.
That's my secret, Cap.
I'm always
saluting.
broke.
No, so after the stressor that was Q3 because it was, or at the end, then you have to do the presentations, and I was supposed to do mine today, and then it got pushed off to tomorrow, and so I'm just like, I can't even just
Okay.
get it out of my system, but it's okay, it happens, and I really like the company, but because they're all in Boston, it starts at like 7:30, and normally I'm up early to do work anyway. It's just more so to like be up at 6:30 to sit and be attentive.
Right.
Stuff.
Oh, no.
Because normally 7:30 me is doing some prep stuff, which is kind of like I can be casual, cameras off, all that kind of stuff. But then it's like, and then usually depending on my day, I don't have to like go all the way. Like if I'm doing 7:30, I don't do lunch or anything. I just go. I'm done pretty early. No, it's just 7:30 to 6. I was just in the middle of it for the last week. And then I have like all this time that I've been doing my actual job has been shifted to now after work. So I've just been tired. That's it. But it's okay because I'm going on vacation.
Nice. When's your vacation?
Next week. I will not be here.
He has
Okay.
one more episode to do, and then he's relieved of his Mexicalence duties till like November.
I'm taking a short vacation.
That
next
sounds
week,
a lot
actually.
longer than it is. It's 2 weeks.
Yeah, Mike, get ready to come to my house a lot.
I'm taking a short, like a 2-day vacation for Spider-Man next week.
Oh, yeah,
'Cause
that makes sense.
Because once Friday hits, that's all I'm going to be fucking doing. And
I try
then-
not to remind myself because it comes out while I'm gone. But I'll be in Japan, so.
Oh,
I
okay.
wasn't sure where I was going to be living, so I pre-ordered the collector's edition, and I was like, Mom, a big box is going to show up for me.
We're going to get 19 inches of Venom. Yeah, of course I did. Oh.
19 inches of venom.
It was one of the funniest fucking things I've ever seen a tweet.
Mike, explain it to me.
So do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
So it was Sony, I think it's Sony UK specifically.
I'm on
they
Team
tweeted
Microsoft
out
right now.
They tweeted out like, "Hey, pre-order the collector's edition, and you'll get 19 inches of Venom," because they were talking about the statue. But everybody was like, 19 inches of what? And like my favorite was the meme of like Tom Holland when his eyes widen when Aunt May catches him, and that was him being like, "Oh God, no."
I like how one of the first responses is, I can take him.
In a fight?
I don't think they meant in a fight. I don't think they meant in a fight.
That's my favorite fucking gag when somebody says that. I can take him in a fight.
And I'm seeing after why everyone's talking about him.
Yeah, it was, and then like so Sony like was making fun of it for a bit, and everybody was making fun of it for a while.
No, I mean that's funny. That's a good say.
It's a great fucking gag on accident. I don't think they meant to say it that way.
But I like companies that lean into their nonsense.
Yes,
You know what I mean?
when they don't,
Yeah.
that's really where they fuck up.
like just as long as you have fun with it, and they're like, we made a mistake, or don't even say that. Just like,
And when
we
they
know we
play
did.
it right? Because sometimes they'll be like, yeah, we're just being silly goofballs. Racism.
Damn.
I need an example.
Racism?
Burger King, UK, or no, in New Zealand, I think
Oh, I know which one you're talking about.
they said something about like no rice here. Or,
Yeah.
Like they were basically making fun of Asian people.
Yeah, I know exactly which one you're talking about now.
And Like
It's
the
always an
actual
international
Burger
one.
King descended from
Always
the
an
heavens and
international
was
one.
like,
We're light. Yeah, if it ain't Whopper, shut the fuck up. Rico Hero, I'm gonna be there from the 20th to the 3rd. Give me a holler.
Shadow Shogun, I'm still going to be doing Rich Slick, but I won't be doing the podcast next week. The same way this week I'm not doing it. Because I would normally be recording that today if I was doing it this week. But I did it last week, so I got a reprieve for this week. And I told him don't fuck with me next week because of Spider-Man. So, yeah.
Well, next week should be fine here because it's Sam and the Compas, so that'll be a fun show. I will say on the note, no, you can never skip the gym.
accurate.
Yeah,
Take
I finally
it from someone who
started
skips the gym every
fucking
day.
working out myself, actually.
I saw
don't
some of
go
your
to a
memes.
gym,
I was
though.
like, that's cool.
Yeah, it's difficult because I'm fat as shit. Well, I'm not as fat as shit anymore, but I'm still
I was
fat.
actually going to say, you look like you lost weight. When I saw your silhouette, I was like, I don't know. That.
Yeah, I'm down to like 203 now.
That's awesome.
From like
nice,
218 at the beginning of September.
Are we talking? You said 203. Are we talking temperatures on a?
Yeah, much
once
like
had a
how
very high
Texas was
temperature.
at 203 at the beginning of September.
Yeah,
But no,
I've been doing VR though, specifically for working out.
VR's like
Yeah.
Beat Saber will get you sweating.
I've been doing Supernatural VR is the name of it.
Give me like
It's really cool.
3 months. now that one of my checks doesn't go to rent.
The hard part is like not eating after 7. That's the hardest part
The what?
because I'm doing intermittent fasting for it.
Yeah.
So once 7 hits, I'm like, fuck. I'm looking at the cookies in my fucking kitchen, and I'm like, don't fucking do it. Don't fucking do it.
Do you have like the electrodes set up like in dodgeball? Just
No,
you want it, don't you?
I considered it. Don't think that I didn't.
I would say when it comes to skipping the gym, it's just about the consistency, and so it helps you build the habit. But if you already have the habit, I wouldn't say you skip. Just make sure you know your rotation of days and be flexible in how you approach those days. It makes it a little easier whenever you're trying to hit your goals, right?
You guys got a little bit of overlap, 26 to 7.
Let me know. Slide into the DMs where you're going to be, and I will let you know where I'm at. I mean, I'm not secretive about it. I'm going to be in Tokyo, Osaka, and Kyoto, but because I'm going somewhere else for a little bit. But I'm meeting anybody who's out
Stay
there if
away
they
from
want to.
Shibuya.
I will be next to it.
It's a JJK joke. We're way far ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. You're in the wrong show. It's the pre-show. You're in the right mode.
I have friends who like I've had so many friends who go to Japan at this point, and I'm always jealous every single time.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I'm jelly.
Yeah, it's hard not to be.
Normally, I'm not the type to say this, but yeah, be jealous, bitches. My dream, finally.
Jiro Shin Kamen Rider is amazing. I love Shin Kamen Rider.
No, as you can imagine, super stoked about the dream trip. Not selling it right now because I'm tired, but it'll really hit me the day before. But right now, I'm in
like,
full stress
it's happening?
mode, like full stress mode of like I gotta get my shit together so I can not. I'm not trying to look at anything while I'm gone. So team knows, everybody knows. Just want to make sure it stays that way.
Aztec said, "Are you going to the Gundam factory?"
How do I put it?
No.
That's no.
You just said you don't like toys and stuff.
No,
but
no,
you
no.
could still see the
But
giant
that one's
Gundam.
so
that's
big.
different.
Yeah.
No, it's not necessarily. I actually have left my itinerary very flexible, and so if anyone has those suggestions, I'm happy to check them out.
Ooh, I mean, it's a cool thing to like pass by and see, but I know that in like Akihabara, there's a hidden away shrine. Like there's a piece of property, you know how like every building's like right next to each other, and there's like these really narrow alleyways. There's one piece of property that there was a shrine there, and they built around it, but there's still like a super narrow alleyway. So there's no advertising for it. There's no signs. But if you walk into the alleyway, there's a little like hidden shrine there.
Down to check it out. Fuck yeah, I'm looking
sounds
that
great.
up.
I mean,
Rico Hero for 100%. Hit me up for reals. I'll be there.
I'm a little ahead still, so don't get after me. But there's the One Piece gym.
There's a lot of stuff out there.
Now, see, I can't disappoint Luffy.
There's
Motherfucker will be like, I'll hit some do maxes while I'm there.
I feel like Luffy wouldn't care. Zoro would definitely care.
a naked snake I think in Akihabara that people like visit every now and then. I forgot where it is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But it's been there for like years.
Yeah, this
He's in like rough shape now, but he's still there. He's still there apparently.
yeah. I follow this artist on Twitter.
Is it, that's Raspberry?
Yeah.
That's how I found out he's still there. Because she visited him recently. And he like his gun was like broken and his legs were all
Yeah,
split.
he's like lying.
I was like, oh fuck, he's seen better days. Because I remember that statue.
He's punished Snake now.
Yeah, he's punished Snake now. Got his ass beat.
Sorry, I got so distracted. We popped open Twitter, and for some reason,
I thought you were looking at snakes.
Cheesecake Factory was trending.
What?
I finally went to a Cheesecake Factory.
You what?
I'd never been to the Cheesecake Factory until
you
like
order the
a
cheesecake?
couple weeks ago. I didn't, but it was like one of the fanciest restaurants I've ever been to. And I'm like, this is a Cheesecake Factory?
Is it the one at the Arboretum?
Yeah.
Because that one looks fancy. From
That
the
one looks
outside.
fancy as fuck. It was fancy as fuck when I got in. I was like, what the fuck?
I guess
I always assumed these were like retail, like fast foody.
Sorry, I'm still distracted by the context. Yeah, so we're doing research. So apparently, I guess this lady wouldn't leave the car because her date took her to Cheesecake Factory, and it's trending because people are roasting her because Cheesecake Factory is not cheap.
No,
It's like a nice, safe, neutral option. Actually, don't let me start roasting you. This haircut's too fresh.
Bro, you got to get 10 dates deep before I take you someplace nice anyway.
Man, if I take you someplace nice, you got...
See the oyster girl?
The what?
The oyster.
What does that mean?
This girl went on a date.
He said oyster girl, by the way. It's
4
people.
trays of oysters while doing Instagram posts, and ordered 2 drinks, and then ordered more food. And the guy left at the end of the date saying, "I'll pay you for drinks."
Oh my god.
And people were saying that, yeah, she deserved it.
She did deserve that.
Yeah.
For eating that many oysters.
I mean,
So much for her libido.
was it all you can eat oysters?
No. The bill's like $220.
Jesus
I don't think
Christ.
I trust a restaurant that has all you can eat.
I don't think
You should not trust that.
I don't trust that.
Somebody's saying that's fake, but I don't know. You can never tell with the internet.
Yeah.
Oh, and Tina said I saw that she was being so rude. The guy was so sweet too.
It was supposed to only be for drinks.
Oh. For drinks, and she ordered 4 trays with making content.
Jesus
Nah, see,
Christ.
like the whole thing is, look, no matter if you're, and there's circumstance for this, don't, like, if you have a bad date, that's a funny story you tell your friends. Whether you like it or not, whatever, don't post it. Don't do that to someone. That's not fair to someone else. Unless they're being, like, there's reasons, right? But if it's just a base incompatibility thing, hey, maybe they didn't match your energy for some certain reason, that's fine. You ain't got to brag about it because you know what's going to happen? You end up looking stupid when people don't agree with you. And even if they do, what good does that do? You're just making someone else feel bad.
I mean, you're not many dates away from being someone's bad date anyway. Like, incompatibility happens.
Yeah.
Like everyone here has had a bad date before. It happens. It's totally fun.
I'm usually the bad date.
JJ was like, what the fuck you talking about? I never have a bad date.
They still tell stories about me on Twitter.
I'm with JJ.
Yeah, she was like, she was
Same
like,
thing.
no, I mean, I think it's just,
We're just too awkward. That's what it comes down
Yeah.
to. Like, all he did was stare.
All he did was stare, and then suddenly he was like, Gundam.
You know they have like meet and dates at like Build a Gundam things, right?
Is that a thing? Is that really a thing?
Yes, it is 100% a thing.
I did not know that.
I'm pretty sure a lot of those girls are too young for me at this point.
I don't know what that, I don't know. That's the tricky thing. What, like, it depends on your own range thought
I'm
process.
telling you, ASL needs to come back.
ASL?
Yeah, like you meet because there's so many. There's other genders now, so that's one thing. And then on the other end of the spectrum, it's just like the only reason I never hit on people in public is like I have no idea if you're 24 or 44.
Yeah.
It's true.
should there be like
I can't
bracelets that we raise up? It's like, this is your timer.
No, that's why we need to make
run?
we need to make it okay to ask ASL when you're out on a date.
Oh, yeah.
I thought you were talking about American Sign Language for a second. I got very confused.
Age, sex,
We got to bring back
location.
sign language.
Yeah. I was
How
like,
old are you?
I was going to lean over and be like, Marcos, sign language is a thing.
Very much a thing, though.
I mean,
we didn't get rid of it.
We need to normalize asking.
We didn't make that robot thing from fucking Congo where it's like, Mimi, sleepy.
Well, I think it's...
We need that thing from the Justin Timberlake movie, that clock that
I already forgot the name of that, but that was a weird fucking movie.
in time.
In time, yeah.
I like to...
Capitalism.
but when I was dating, that wasn't like not really as
You were 25. Everyone was dateable.
Yeah, that's why I said you were in the neutral zone.
You were
Now I do need timelines. I said now I need timelines.
I've seen too much Chris Hansen to be like, oh no,
No.
I look like half of the people he's caught.
How many Chris Hansons have you met recently?
Time out, JJ. You ain't that bad, dog.
Jesus Christ.
He's like, it's like, nah.
You sent messages saying, I want to build Gundams with you.
What does that mean?
What does that mean?
It's like, I just wanted to fucking build Gundams. That's what
I
it
legit
meant.
wanted to build a Gundam.
This was a build a Gundam
But
program.
what are the White Claws for?
No,
For me, there's no laws when there's claws.
what I
Let me rephrase that.
Checkmate, Chris Hansen. There are no laws if I have the claws, Chris Hansen. Now get out of my face. Now I'm going to leave with my stuffed animals.
my learning moment was really it came down to like I was out with my buddy. This is back in college, and we were like and this girl who's dressed up came in, like we were chatting it up with like her and her friend, and we we're like, oh, this is like must be her boyfriend or whatever. Da da da. She's like, oh no, that's my cousin. I'm 17, and when you see the look on our faces of this is on Rainy and they give a shit here. I was like, how did you do this?
How did you pull this off?
Yeah, how did you Houdini your way in here? But like you'd be like, oh, like looks like a UT student because with UT we're like, oh, you go to UT. Da, 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 da. Ever since then,
Was she a grad student?
no, she was 17.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, 17, Marcos. And I said, first of all, where are your parents? Second of all, I'm too big and too black for this situation.
It's when, it's when you run into the guys like the guy in Transformers 4 who carries that lol laminated in his wallet to prove why he can fuck Mark Wahlberg's daughter.
Oh yeah.
He's like, the Romeo and Juliet law. I can totally fuck your daughter, Mark Wahlberg. Like, why do you have that?
Also, yeah, why do you have...
Why don't you just like make her 18 in the movie or something? You didn't have to go out of your way to bring that up.
I know you two aren't wrestling fans, but this is a story.
I used to be years and years ago.
Well, you might understand this story.
Is it a 90s story? I might
No. This is me going to a concert, and this is where I was on the other end of the spectrum, where I was like, I was the little baby at 24, and somebody hit on me, and I found out they were 45 in the weirdest way possible because I'm literally just there with Edward, a friend of the podcast, Edward, and I'm just like nervous the entire time just because it's just like I don't like being in crowds at that point. And then this girl is just like pushing me and talking to me, and I'm just trying to look at Edward. And I'm like, I'm gonna talk about the one thing girls do not give a fuck about. And I was talking about New Japan Wrestling, and then she was like, "Oh, I like wrestling too, but if I tell you who's my favorite, you're gonna know how old I am." And I was like,
I remember this.
Was it Jake the Snake?
"Well, see, that's the acceptable old. If you had told me like my favorite was Hulk Hogan, Psycho Sid, Shawn Michaels, I would have been
Those were all our guesses.
yeah." And then she was like, "Oh no, my favorite is the Von Erichs."
Oh shit! Are you gonna watch that movie, by the way?
Yes,
Hell yeah.
Okay.
I'm ready to cry.
I'm waiting for Twitter to discover the sadness that is
Right,
that fucking
yeah.
story. Because people are Yeah, because people on
what
Twitter
am
are
I
thirsting
missing?
on them, and it's like all of wrestling Twitter's like, don't do that.
So
Please
first of
don't
all-
do that for this.
So if you look up the trailer for the Iron Claw,
Iron
you want to
Claw, yeah.
see it. Everyone there is basically kind of like somebody's crush. It's the guy from The Bear. Zac Efron's fucking in it.
He's the main one.
And but when you read the story, it's like they all died.
Yeah.
The majority of them died.
The Von
one of the-
Erichs is like the biggest tragedy in all of
It's
wrestling.
so depressing.
Well, in one of the biggest tragedies in all.
There's a lot of
tragedy in
tragedies.
wrestling.
If it's on Dark Side of Wrestling or whatever the fuck it's called,
Side
then
of the
it's the
Ring?
most
Yeah.
depressing thing you'll ever hear. in your life.
But basically, it was like 5 or 4 brothers, 4 siblings. All of them were in the wrestling business. Their
Except
father
for
was in the wrestling
youngest
business.
who like electrocuted.
Yeah. And
A lot of fucked up
Tina
shit.
Uchiha, thank you for the gifted subs. Continue.
they were all in the business. They were all doing good. One of them made it to WWE, but he was in a car accident, lived, but was never the same after that. There's only one of them left.
He's got like the most depressing quote I've ever heard in my life too. It's so sad. I used to have 5 brothers, but now I'm not even a brother.
Yeah.
Oh. It's fucking sad.
It's terrible.
One of the saddest things I've ever heard in my life. But
Well,
yes,
I'm
ad
gonna
breaks. Sorry.
Watching that
later.
trailer,
Well, the trailer makes it look really
Trailer makes it look like it's
like a triumphant movie.
It looks like Cool Runnings, kind of like it has that these boys are gonna make it and everything's gonna be great.
Also, Agent OP said that he slept with a 40-year-old when he was 20.
Yeah, somebody
for
else said
them.
they slept with a 50. Oh, Bat G did. I'm like,
no, time out. Okay, look, number
I
one.
almost slept with a 50-year-old, but I
If
was
you
like, I'm not into this.
if you didn't get the context, when you're in college, swinging up, totally fine. 25, swinging up, totally fine. And you can swing and be like, hey, you know what? I mean, my rule of thumb was like, once I was 25, I was like, hey, gotta be drinking age. But whatever. Right? I was like, you can swing a little lower. It stops after 25. You're like, I can only go one direction. And a little bit lower, but one direction. That's it. And then
even-
simply too deep. What's up? I appreciate that. Oh,
I mean, I remember my friends making fun of me because the girl at Hot Topic hit on me, and I was 21. And when I asked her age, she said she was 18, and my friends just laughed and walked out of the store. And then that's only a 4-year age, completely legal, and I was still like, "Yep, not doing that. What the fuck am I gonna do with you? Like, go to the arcade?"
we can't have a conversation.
Well, that's the tricky thing as we get older. We're just like, it's hard to watch anime now.
Yeah.
because it's just like fan service. Like that character's 15.
Yeah.
Speak for yourself. No, I'm kidding. I don't know, man. First of all, fan service isn't really like.
It depends on the show.
It doesn't
though.
really impact me too much. But my whole thing is, I'm like, something about anime where it's like Japan brain. They just do whatever the fuck they want over
They
there.
do.
I mean, it is funny how they'll try to cancel Japanese movies. Like Suzume was like, "Why is this 15-year-old talking to this 20-year-old college student?" It's like, it's Japan.
It's Japan things.
Japan has very strange laws, guys.
Ooh, big bomb. Date night. Go ahead. Oh, you were 18 in college hooking up with a 55-year-old.
Oh, good for you.
We have questions about the 55-year-old, not you. But no,
You're a victim.
no.
It's fine. If they're cool with it, then go for it.
Good night. Hey, good luck on your date. Hope it goes well.
Don't take her to the Cheesecake Factory, apparently.
Apparently not. Don't do that.
Or if
Take her
you
to
do,
Buc-ee's.
just emphasize that they serve everything.
No, but how do I put it? I put, because anime normally you start off with kids being way more mature than we are nowadays. So I was
Still-
like, it's a sliding scale, right?
Still the case for me. This kid's been living alone and since he was like 12 and his apartment's clean and shit.
True, I guess. I saw 12-year-olds with driver's license in Mexico, so I'm sure it's fine.
Kotaro has a nicer apartment than all of us, except for maybe you.
I think that could be challenged. No, I mean, it's just interesting.
I guess he doesn't have any animals, so like,
That's a failure on his part.
No, I think once you're committed to an animal, like it's in it, my brain is still getting over the expenses required to maintain and keep that thing alive. And
gone
Oh,
to the vet
it's
yet?
super expensive.
of course, I've gone to the vet. Goes every year or every 6 months. Michaela does that.
so you haven't gone to the vet.
Nah, they won't like me there. Like, what's that 0? Take it off. Take that 0 off. Motherfucker was fine when he came in. He gonna be fine when he leaves. But no.
So Sil simply has a question. Since we're talking about swinging, do you guys think there's such as a thing going overboard when it comes to enticement from your lady? If so, how?
you and these dating questions.
They're popping up. Might as well.
When it talks about, do you guys think there's such things going overboard when it comes to enticement from your lady? If so,
I'm not sure. Could you elaborate?
Yeah.
Like, are we talking like in
I'm
the
cool
middle
with
of the
that.
act, or like are we talking about just in general? From
Right,
like,
yeah. Like if we're having dinner with my folks, baby, put
Yes,
put the girls away.
If that's happening, do not bring up anything like that.
I'm a simple dude. Like you, actually, I feel like the harder you try, the more I'm like, yeah, right. It's like you ain't gotta really like. I'm not saying you don't try. Put me on a little game because I mean, shit, I ain't gonna turn my head unless you are. But like, you know, if you're my partner, we've been dating for a little bit. You can like. Depends on what type of mood am I in? Also, like, did you consider that? Am I dating? If I'm dating, that's
true.
totally different, nigga.
I have a controversial opinion, I guess, on this.
Go for it.
then. Not a fan of lingerie.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
Sammy says he's with him.
Pants are better than lingerie. I'm gonna send
I won't go that far, but
you're looking mighty fine in that oversized Garfield T-shirt.
Yeah, that sounds great, actually.
I think that the whole mix is
That's redneck lingerie, baby.
like I don't
Are you in
mind.
the mood for some lasagna? They said.
I don't mind lingerie occasionally, but like it's got to be like when you get into that kind of mood thing, it's got to be one of those rare instances, or else it doesn't mean like it's not that special. But also for me, if I'm in the mood, it don't really matter what the fuck you in. Like I'm in the mood. Like I'm in a dating, talkative. Oh, and she wants to spice up your sex life. That's a conversation. Like that's a whole conversation.
Yeah, that's a whole different conversation.
Like, and it depends on your partner. It depends on you. There's no right answer.
we might have an episode of the Excellence in November. So I'll leave it there.
Okay.
Elijah's coming through, maybe.
No.
worst opinion on women.
No,
I think that's what'll make it interesting, though.
I want Elijah and TJ in the same room. It could happen.
No, it won't. The quota. There's a quota.
Oh, dear God.
Females have to slap.
No, that's look.
Don't refer to people as females, guys. That
No,
makes
it's
things very weird.
Stop it. It's a whole. It depends on how you were like, how you talk. Because like, no, it's not a fixable thing.
Don't try to take away their word, all right?
It's not their word. Like
'Cause the females took
mom
away
would be-
Star Wars or
My mom would be
whatever.
the first one to tell you to go about it in that vernacular. But that's also like
She's a doctor. That's where
that's a nurse. Like
Yeah, that makes sense why they would
I
say
wish-
it that way, though.
But no, like my family, like growing up,
But
like
if you're like friend who's really into like X-Men's, like the females, you're like, dude, no, don't do that.
but I think it's just like the connotation of how you use it, and I think
Yeah.
it's like a lot of the times some people don't mean anything by it. I think it's just, to me, that's one of the ones where I'm like, it just depends on context.
To turn the subject around a little bit, I like the way that Serenity put it. I like flesh, and I'm like, yeah, that's why lingerie doesn't really do it for me.
You're really into eating people. Yeah.
That's not. Well, I was like,
I didn't.
renowned for it.
but let's say, just to answer your question real quick, let's say that like if spicing of any sex life is always about communication. That's number one.
Yeah,
So
no,
before anything takes place, of course, like I say there's like a certain level of sexual activity that you guys probably understand about each other after being together with a while, right? But anything beyond that, if you really feel like you need to spice things up, that's 100% a conversation. That's 100% like,
So you
hey,
give a
what are your
scenario.
comfort level? Like, what are your comfort levels? You and your lady are alone somewhere, no one's around, and she wants to do naughty stuff with you and undressing you. You've never done before, and before you give her the main course, do you think she's going overboard? Or are you fine with it? I feel like you put us in this scenario before. Was it like undressing?
No, this is just fucking having sex in the middle of nowhere. I've done that.
Yeah, I mean,
Also, if you're hot and bothered, you're already fucking into it. That's kind of the thing.
like it's 100.
At that point, if you're already doing the undressing, then you've already fucking gotten into it. I'm sorry.
And
If she pulls out a strap on, we're gonna have a
Yes.
conversation.
Then you're like, we're in public.
Wait, hang on a second.
But I also say, like, at that point, at any given point, even if you're in the middle of like a situation, you can still tap out if that's not your thing, right? And,
Everyone can tap out.
and you just, but it's always about context and what you're comforted in. But yeah, I don't think there's a right or wrong answer to that. It's about how you feel.
Yes.
No.
There's no right or wrong unless it's in front of your parents.
But it's always about
That was the wrong
conversation.
answer.
Yes.
Or if it's illegal. That
mostly the illegal part too.
It's illegal to have sex in public, and I think that's acceptable sometimes.
As long as no one is there. It's really- no one's there. There's no cameras nearby, and you're fine. They go
I don't
for
know
it.
about cameras just because
It's-
I don't know about cameras. That's what I will put that one as a caveat.
you're on the camera right now.
Well, yeah, I'm not gonna have sex here in Sam's living room.
Thank
but-
you.
I think he'd appreciate that.
Anywhere in Sam's apartment, yes.
Yeah, he's like, it's like, that patio's mine.
That'd be funny.
But yeah, no, I mean, personally speaking, yeah, I'm just and just normalize it's totally fine if you want diversity in your sex life. Just normalize the conversation with your partner. And a lot of the times, that'll naturally come whenever you normalize the conversation.
We are
of
eventually
sexual
going to talk about
activity.
anime, probably.
No, we this is an anime episode, no sexlence.
But if you watch enough anime, that
actually-
thing's full of sex.
Right, yeah.
But actually, speaking of the Animexcellence, let's go ahead and switch gears. Hey, people. Y'all know we got to pay these bills. So, no, seriously. Always an exciting time to get to talk about our sponsor, Manscaped, who's been ever so gracious in hooking us up with some of the best products coming from boxers all the way to the Lawnmower 4.0, which we'll always brag about and I'll happily spend a good hour talking about them boxers. But today, I want to spend some time on something that I guess we don't brag about a lot of, aka the lovely, luscious Handyman Compact Face Shaver. And you know me. I do love me my USB-C and chargers that are compatible with everything. And guess what? Just like the rest of the Manscaped suite, the Handyman is easily portable, easily able to be charged, and covers you whenever you need a nice touch-up away from home. Now, some of us have more facial hair than others. I feel very the weakest power here, but that doesn't mean that I don't need a handyman occasionally. Not only does it make sure that you have an excellent luster with its dual action foil shaver, it's also compact and you can toss it in your bag, whether you're traveling like me going to Japan soon, or you're just heading down the street for a date and you were like, I need to be freshened up in the bathroom beforehand. Take care of yourself before you get on the date, but we understand there's some scheduling issues. Again, it has up to 60 minutes of runtime, 5-minute quick charge option. It's low battery indicator, and it has a magnetic blade cover. And you can include this with the rest of the lovely products from the Manscaped collection. That can be the Platinum package. That can be the Performance package 4.0. That can be the Boxers if you're really feeling spicy. So once again, head over to manscaped.com. Make sure you type in coupon code MEX20. Hook yourself up with that handyman. Make sure you have that side piece with you anytime you need it. And again, MEX20, coupon code. Type it in. That's 20% off and free shipping. Let me make sure that's clear. 20% off and free shipping. They've been ever so gracious, and so we want to make sure that y'all guys are hooked up just as much as we are. So all you got to do, go to manscaped.com, use coupon code MEX20, and in this case, don't worry, your boss will thank you. But actually, your beard, the trimmings, they'll thank you too. We'll be back with the show. Thank you for the support again. MEX20. Handyman. Hi. I don't normally lead this one. I'm confused. I don't even know what to say. Welcome to an episode of the Animexcellence.
I was actually about to say that is the sexiest of all our theme songs. Actually,
it's actually super sexy.
Why is it so sexy?
It's the start of a hentai.
It's because of R&B JoJo R&B influences.
Oh, okay.
Gotcha.
Because of JoJo.
Jodeci is
Outro. So I found something a little more funky.
yeah. Freaking you is an ending theme. It counts. But I'm your host today. It's TJ. I appreciate the kind compliments on Fresh Cut, but I'll be taking the driver's seat today. And before I get into my other resident Hispanic individuals across from me, I have to say what's up to our guest today.
Hey, everyone. Howdy. Kawhi or whatever.
Yeah, this is when you.
Oh, is this when I have to introduce myself?
Yeah.
I'm Spider Mike from Rage Select as well as oneofus.net. I used to write stuff too sometimes, but I stopped. But you can still find those probably on the BellaLostSouls.net.
I reshared them every time I saw
Yeah.
them.
I used to write. Yeah, I was a video game journalist for like a hot minute there. But then they were like, "We want you to only write what we want." I was like, "I don't want to do that."
That's lame.
Yeah.
And now, thank you so much for joining us today. We're going to get into it hot and heavy on some of these topics. But before we do that, Marcos.
What's up, guys? I'm wearing a One Piece t-shirt here today. But yeah, my name's Marco. Nice to see y'all's faces.
Before we get to you, JJ, Big Techs and some of their anime shirts. I'm like, I would love to get that. I can't wear that one though.
Some of them are bad.
Some of them are like, you mean bad like as in just bad?
Yeah, just bad.
Some of them are bad. Some of them are bad.
The Weight Slayer is bad.
Wait, I don't like
The Weight Slayer?
Yeah, it's like a demon slayer, but it's like he has really strong arms, and I was
Oh
like,
yeah, sometimes they try to force the.
They try to force some. The Vegeta ones are the ones that sell the most, I assume.
I actually like their Mario shirt a lot. Thought about getting it for Sam.
I like that one.
It's actually one of their best designs they've made, and they said it's a little bit thicker print, so it's not going to fade too bad.
Okay.
And you love to hear that. But one with the authentic One Piece shirt.
I am wearing a One Piece shirt. Hi, I'm JJ from my apartment. And the Alpha Primos. Check us out on YouTube.
JJ, it's been a minute since we've been on the show together, right?
It has.
To answer your so simply too deep, I do not have a Twitch channel, but I have considered it. But if I ever get a bigger place, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, space is an issue for.
It's a massive issue.
It's like if I didn't have I'll be honest with y'all.
I also don't have a
Without an
gaming
office, I
computer.
don't know how I'd live. Like that second bedroom changed my life. I didn't been in a one bedroom my entire life until not my entire life, but entire adult life. I was like, my dream is getting a second bedroom, but the only way you can afford a second bedroom is with a second person.
Yeah. Funny how that works.
For the most part, you do. I have enough that I could probably pull it off now, but like I don't know if I should, kind of thing. Because I make pretty decent money nowadays.
TJ
that
had to be
Mustang proves
different.
it. So.
No anime shirt.
I have a bunch of. So I actually just upgraded the fits. I got a Yu Yu Hakusho Letterman.
That sounds dope as fuck.
That sounds awesome.
Man, I got some fresh fits recently that I'm just not rocking. So I'll rock that on the next Animexcellence. It just had. It's like still switch like
3 months from now.
3 months. You're being real generous. Say when the moon hits the highest peak.
This is our quarterly show.
We want to do.
My fault, let you guys.
It's just a matter of how we
Not
can.
our fault neither.
Yes, and there's certain times we can talk about the shows.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. If it wasn't for Netflix, this would be a kind of hollow show.
No.
There's a lot of
I just made
animes
y'all watch
going
some
on,
other
though,
shit.
is the thing.
I mean, I
Jeff
asked, and I
constantly
was
talks
like,
to me about them.
Well, no. Okay, look, I use this as a general guide, but there's other shit that I'm watching that I'll talk about.
okay, like
Yeah.
the random farming anime you brought up that one time.
Hey, man, that shit was hilarious. All right.
I heard there's a really good lesbian golf anime out there that Jeff keeps trying to get me to watch.
I bet.
Some birdie, maybe. I think
Someone's into Bleach right now.
Simply
Too
got
Deep.
into Bleach.
Nice.
One of the animes that had the most notorious filler of any fucking anime.
Yeah, I think out of the big three, it had the most.
For a while, it did.
So
Until Boruto.
Naruto really fucked it pretty quickly.
I
They had an
say,
entire season that was just fucking filler.
so people get onto Bleach for its filler, but the more the years go on, and with the ability to skip that shit or watch it if you want to, I think more episodes of content of anything are fine. But in releasing of it, it's a little rough. But it just depends on the type of filler you prefer.
The problem was the timing they would do it. They would do it like mid.
They do it mid arcs, which was stupid. That one was
what
rough.
made it stupid.
Because like Bound was like the only acceptable one because it kind of happened between arcs.
Yeah.
And then you had, and then there was one that just happened like in the middle of the fight with spoiler, like in the middle of the fight with Aizen, and you're like, why is that doing that?
I remember when it happened, and all my friends were like, "What the fuck, dude?"
I had kind of fallen out with Bleach already, but I was like tangentially like keeping up with it. One of my buddies was still into it, and so when I was like flipping through channels on Adult Swim, I was like, "Oh, did they kill Aizen already? What? This isn't Aizen." Last week I saw Aizen. What the hell is this?
It happened a lot with them. At least there were new episodes where Dragon Ball Z's English dub kept restarting
Right,
the
they
fucking
would
Namek saga. I was like, luckily we were Mexican, so we had watched all that shit by that point. But I felt really bad for the English dub people.
Canal Cinco.
So what
Yeah,
I will
hell yeah.
say is, kicking things off, we're actually going to start with the other half of the Animexcellence, which is games. There's been a lot of... okay, I'm going to be honest, y'all. Gaming has caused me anxiety recently. There's been a lot of shit.
Were you developing on Unity?
Yes. No,
Christ.
we been a lot of shit that's come out. Some really good shit that I just
This year's
haven't
been full of
just
games.
have
has
not had the opportunity to play yet. And to be honest,
Doesn't that Zelda game feel like years ago?
Tears of the Kingdom. Yeah, I
At
mean,
this point, it kind of does.
It was last year.
No, it was this year.
Was it this year? Was it
this summer.
It was.
Wait, hold on. What am I thinking of? No, I'm thinking of something else. I'm thinking of Elden Ring because that came out last year with Horizon.
We did talk about Elden Ring last year.
So
The reason I thought about Zelda is because fucking Horizon kept getting fucked by Zelda.
So I guess we can start off before we get a little more particular. What are people playing? I'll end off. So
I've got a lot of answers though.
go ahead. Let's start with you.
I started Cyberpunk 2077 recently,
right here.
because they finally patched the shit out of it, and so I decided to start it up, and that game's great as it turns out. I didn't realize because I played it originally when it was covered in
When it was
glitches and
bad.
bugs and shit.
When it was bad.
Like you would hit a guy with your car and your car would just stop fucking dead because it was stuck on the dead body.
I lost my car like 3 times.
I was so fucking upset. And I was so pissed, and so I just stopped entirely. I bought it on a Black Friday for $10 because they were just trying to get rid of them at the time. And I was like, I'll try it out. But now that they've patched the shit out of it, I'm like, this game's fucking great. Especially with I'm doing the pistol build, so I'm just headshotting people constantly. It's just the fucking best. I love it. I have like 5 cars now because all I do is side missions.
Yeah.
They just keep giving me cars, and I'm like, okay, cool.
Well, I feel like after Edge Runners, they had to make sure
So
that
Edge Runners is when it started
being.
improving.
They said we have to put more money because the weebs are in on it now.
What?
Yeah, because Edge Runners like really got people into the idea of playing the game more than anything else.
Yeah.
Because it skyrocketed when that thing came out, and there's a bunch of references to it in the game now. They added a bunch of stuff from it too. Like I found one of these things you can scan it. It shows the intro to the anime.
Yeah.
and you can get the main guy's jacket if you start that subquest.
Well, they had already planned that like patch, like even when it was shitty. Like,
No.
When it was still like we're gonna release X day, and then future Edge Runners patch. So it just coincided that the anime was the same name as the patch. But they already had a lot of that content planned. That said, the Edge Runners patch did fix a lot of stuff. It still wasn't as fun as it is now.
And I'm
great
interested
now.
because I still own it. I never refunded or anything. I own it for
Same.
the Xbox. And so whenever I get to that point in my backlog where I can afford to spend time on Cyberpunk, I'll make sure to give it a swing.
I will say it's still not glitch free because at
No,
one point I went back to my
fine.
apartment and there were just like fucking clearly like weird collision name things on the wall. I was like, okay, that's happening.
There's one glitch that me and my brother kept encountering, and I just chalked it up to like PCs are weird sometimes. After the opening mission, like after you create your character and you do that first little piece of content, there's a cutscene that plays, and the first thing that shows up in that cutscene is like people roller skating. For whatever reason, when me and my brother played it, each on like our own PCs, miles apart from each other, those NPCs that are supposed to be roller skating are just like T-pose floating.
Those are the best glitches.
Now, time out,
I love
a
T-pose.
T-pose means you won. You don't have to play the game anymore.
I remember getting a T-pose in Spider-Man during the Miles Morales sequence where like everything's exploding and he was just like, Dad, and he's just like T-posing around. It's so fucking funny. He removed all the tension from the scene. I was like, this is amazing.
The funny thing is that like I've restarted Cyberpunk several times. Just like every time there's a patch, I'm like, all right, let's see how this one plays.
I also figure out something and then I have to restart because I was just doing whatever the first time, and then I was like, "Oh, I want to be sword guy," and let me reset.
Now it's
There's a
now
great
sword
sword
guy is
build now.
very, very good.
Yeah, Jeff showed me his sword build. I'm like, that's fucking terrifying.
You're basically Dio.
Yeah, you just walk up to a room and you're like, I'm Virgil now, and you just fucking murder everything. Like, what the fuck?
No, so I've restarted Cyberpunk several times. I've seen that cutscene multiple times. The one time I didn't get a T-pose was when it was bricked as fuck. Like on launch, I didn't get that T-pose glitch.
My favorite glitch.
Every subsequent patch, it's like, no, we're T-posing.
My favorite glitch early on was Jackie. Every time he walked around, his guns were hovering around him. I was like, what the fuck?
He's got the Alucard swords.
Just following him. I'm like, okay, cool.
I didn't get any glitches when I first played, but I didn't play it long enough because you're like, I didn't want to sour my experience with it. I genuinely was like, all right,
No, I get it, yeah.
I'm going to hope that they improve this because I can see the skeleton of something good here. But honestly, hey, man, props to glad y'all guys are diving in on that. Anything else?
I'm also playing Mortal Kombat 1 still.
We'll get into that one.
But and besides that, I'm also doing Gungrave Gore was the other one.
Yeah.
That came out because I have all the Gungrave games. That was a game I was really into. Yeah, because I bought the first one.
Man, Gungrave is a tough like.
Yeah, dude, I loved Gungrave when I was growing up. I bought it with change at an EB Games, and the guy was so pissed at me because I walked up and I was like, "Here's $14 in change," and he's just like, "Ah, fuck!" And he's just there counting it.
Hey.
And then when Overdose came out, my brother got it for me for Christmas, and so when Gore came out, I got super fucking giddy. I was like, "Oh my god, Gungrave!" And I even made a meme of that one where Grunkle Stan has the 3 books.
I finally have them all.
Finally, I have them all because I just have all 3 of them for a PlayStation kind of thing.
I would say
the game's not super great because it's like clearly made for like a low budget.
Right,
But I still have fun with it.
with first of all, you took me back with EB Games.
That's how long ago that was.
Shit.
Bless you.
And games used to be you can for my PS2 like go in and be like I got $25. That means I can get one game, or I know they got that pre-owned pile somewhere in here.
Right. Yeah. I can walk out with like 5.
Yeah, I don't know what the names will be.
Decent to good games.
Yeah. It's a grab bag, mystery pack. But JJ, what you playing?
Apart from Cyberpunk, me and my brother have been playing this game called Evil West.
That game's great.
It's a double A
fucking love
game, right? Yeah,
I 100% of that bitch.
we might too. Like usually because we've been playing it on stream.
It's made by the guys who made I want to say Shadow Warrior.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
okay. I know what you're talking about.
That game's fucking amazing. I love it.
That's really
Shadow
cool.
Warrior is also really fun, but. Yeah, usually when me and my brother stream a game, it's like, we're going to play this until we get bored, guys. And then afterwards, we're like, probably going to move on to like a different game. Like, we've never rolled credits on like Diablo 4.
Fair.
And we never will, considering how it is now.
It's fair.
But this one, we played it like within the opening moments where you're like, oh, we're beating this bitch.
That's cool.
The game's fucking amazing.
We're beating. It's a video game as video game. Like it knows what it is. It knows what it's setting out to do. It's not trying to reinvent the wheel. It's just here.
It's a gamer's game.
Yeah, it was just like this is a Western game with vampires. Yeah, you have a 6-shooter, but you're gonna punch them.
That's what you like to hear.
It's got a solid story too, I think.
It is, yeah. Like the
It gets
moments
real
that me
dark.
and my brother aren't talking over each other, that I'm actually like paying attention. Like this ain't bad.
There's a level where you walk into.
Like this content's pretty good.
Yeah, there's a level where you walk into. There's just piles of dead cattle, and you're like, "This is fucked up."
Piles of dead what?
Cattle, just like
cattle.
stacked, like just like piles, just a shit ton of them. You're like, "This is really fucked up."
And in between sessions of Cyberpunk and that Evil West, I have to finish the story of Baldur's Gate 3.
Good luck with that.
So
Yeah, no,
let me
I'm
help you
not.
out here.
I think it's long as fuck.
This is where we can relate. I started Baldur's Gate 3. I started it, I think, 2 weeks ago. No, last week. 2 weekends ago, because I was busy last week. I knew I made a mistake. You ever get
Starting it right before you go to Japan? Yeah.
It wasn't that too, but it's more
You
so
romanced the wrong character.
not that.
Okay.
I make right decisions. It was more so because I haven't even gotten far enough to warrant that. But I know
Okay.
people who like me. You know what? It's those times where you're like, this is an investment.
Yeah.
Where you acknowledge this game has so many layers, so much that I want to make sure I'm giving it its full undivided attention. And I'm sorry, Baldur's Gate 3, I just cannot afford you right now. Not out of cost, I already own you. It's out of time.
You can speedrun it with that weird glitch those people found. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
There's one where there's like an NPC or something, I think, or something that you can like knock down. You stuff her in a chest and like teleport her somewhere, and it essentially nukes something that causes the game to just end right then and there.
Yeah.
We beat
It's
it
the, like,
legit.
It's the world record right now because it's like what 10 minutes or something like that.
It's
something really short because the only reason it's not even faster is because he has to get through the dialogue
it
sections.
is not as far as I know.
It's not on
crazy as
Xbox,
fuck.
or I would be playing it.
People have come with some crazy shit in that
So
game.
I
It's
will
amazing.
actually.
Yeah.
JJ, are you playing a PC?
I am playing a PC. Yeah.
This is one of those rare instances. I don't get how you'd play Baldur's Gate on a controller. I don't.
I'm not sure either.
They make it work. So
Also,
'cause
Tina, I think it's Baldur's Gate's on Xbox by now, right?
I don't know if it
I don't
is.
think it
I don't.
is.
Think
I know
it
they
is.
made concessions so it can release on Xbox, but I don't remember if it actually
I
happened.
think the
or
only
not.
concession was probably not on Series S.
Yeah, the concession was they couldn't get the split screen to
I have
work.
Series S. I was going to look if I could buy it.
They couldn't get the split screen to work on the Series S, so that was the whole thing that was keeping it back. And
Oh,
then,
so
and
maybe
so
they
they're
just
like,
cut that.
so they told them, okay, just release it because we look really bad right now.
I'll bet. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's the concession for everybody is that every feature has to work on both consoles, otherwise you're not supposed to be able to release it.
It's been holding Xbox.
But there's a
back.
lot of developers that are telling people the Series S is a fucking potato. Stop fucking doing that.
It actually does work really. Larian, because I played Divinity. I played Divinity
They're great.
1 and 2.
Did you play Original Sin 2?
Yeah, Original Sin 2. I bought those on GOG, but the first Divinity I had played was Original Sin 2 on PS4. I went to PAX South back when that still existed, and I had heard like PC gamers tell me about Divinity 2. Like, you gotta play this. It's fucking great. It's like a real.
I've heard a lot. I mean, it scored really, really high. Rightfully so. If it's anything, even a kid in the camp of Baldur's Gate 3 deserves
like,
it.
Yeah, they were like, they somehow mastered making a tabletop RPG like pretty much 1-to-1 on console.
Original Sin 2 is the
Choices
reason they got
wild.
Baldur's Gate 3 as
Yeah,
well.
like
Straight up. Also, Tina, according to the internet, it's supposed to come out before the year's done for the Xbox.
but yeah, I got in line to play it. I mean, there were like 3 other people because no one knew who Larian was back then. Baldur's Gate 3 didn't exist. Me and
Bear
my-
fucking didn't exist. Gotcha.
Me and my friend Frank, like I roped him into it. I was like, "Come on, dude, like do this one for me."
Come on, you owe me one.
Do it for the Gipper.
Yeah. So we both played it. He wasn't as into it as I was, but like playing it on controller didn't feel awkward.
That's really huge because I'm playing Baldur's Gate 3, and this is one of those rare times. Because I mean, I like this is.
I didn't even know you were a PC player.
I am. I have it. I have everything. So like, I like controller. I actually learned keyboard and mouse more recently than the
I'm still
controller.
terrible at keyboard and mouse, which is weird
too.
because I started
I mean,
with it.
like looking at 10 spells, and I'm just kind of.
I'm one of those guys that's like shooter on that.
Yeah, I don't know how to do
Wait.
it. Like I'm flailing because I don't know how to get the mouse to stay in one fucking spot.
The whole thing about it is you commit. Like it's just
Yeah.
commitment to it, and then like there was a point where, and you got to find the game that clicks you.
Yeah.
For me, it was Valorant. Valorant said you like so much about this game that if you can't figure this shit out, you're screwed. Am I saying I'm perfect now? No. There's moments where it still feels a little awkward. But games like and get into some of the things I've been playing to circle back to Baldur's Gate 3. Like things like Risk of Rain 2, where that's like another one where I'm like, that's a keyboard mouse for your ass game.
Yeah.
When I was playing Baldur's Gate 3, it was one of those ones that would just clue me out. I was like,
just
keyboard,
clicks.
mouse,
Yeah.
lots of buttons. Brain says I want to do everything, right? That said, that's really cool that they made it like if you can make PC games accessible to console, that is always a big achievement. Don't half-ass it. Don't do like, and I mean the whole thing. Like one of my gripes against something like a Warzone, they turn their dashboards to be the most unfriendly.
Yeah, holy
I
shit.
don't even play Warzone that much. It makes it. You're like, this is just a PC hub,
Right, yeah,
that's just
when it's
stuffed into console. That's not how that works.
They keep doing it too, and it
They
frustrates the
do.
shit out
Yeah.
of me.
It's
Warzone's
just-
also huge.
Destiny started that shit.
Don't get me started on that. Look, okay, so
Alucard's in it now.
Warzone.
Alucard's in what?
Alucard's in Warzone.
He is?
Speaking of
How did that
anime.
happen?
We'll get there.
He's for Halloween. He's
I thought it was Michael Myers and Ash.
no. He's the
He's
battle
in there.
pass reward for.
He's the battle pass reward.
Some
Really? I know
nerds-
Ash
Spawn?
and Michael Myers are supposed to be in it now. And
Some
Spawn
nerds
as
no,
well.
really-
that's Fortnite.
Wait, no, but Michael Myers was also it was Leatherface. Was the other one I'm thinking of? He was
Leatherface
announced.
I think
has
that
his
was
own
like
game.
He was announced for one of the Call of Duties.
But no, the Alucard, some nerd
I did a whole
really,
thing with Reg
really
like that.
shook a door, probably for months. And be like, let Alucard in, because I don't think the average person Do you know who Alucard is, Sam?
The Castlevania guy.
No.
wrong one.
He's-
But yes,
He got it.
No, don't
wait,
you
no,
don't
wait,
undersell
no,
him.
you're talking about anime Alucard. Okay,
Yeah.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're
That's
not
different.
wrong.
He's not wrong technically.
What is a man but a miserable pile of secrets?
Well, that's Dracula who said
Yeah.
that. That was Dr. Acula, and everybody knows it.
Yeah, and first of all, Dracula was right. We'll get into that.
But did he say that to Alucard?
No, he said
No.
it to Richter.
Motherfucker don't talk to his son. Spoiler alert.
accurate. No, yeah, but he's in the battle pass for spooky
I forgot
season.
about that. Yeah,
So is Spawn, and
they
you
got
get-
Keith David for that.
Yeah, they got Keith David for that, and you. Get,
Motherfucker will always voice Spawn. He don't care.
He loves it.
He loves it.
Keith David's the fucking
I would
best.
sign up if I get any superhero, even if it's like one of the shitty X-Men that you're like, no one wants this figure.
You want to be Banshee?
I'll be that guy, sure. Like every time
Can
they
you do a
read-
Scottish accent? That's who Banshee is.
See,
I do Willie.
I'd want to be what is it? There's two ways, right? You're either the live action or the voice actor. Either
Right.
sign up. I want that superhero contract.
But yeah,
I would love to be a voice actor for a superhero so badly.
Give me some be like
Every time.
motherfucker's Iceman. We don't know when he's gonna show back up, but he's Iceman.
Go for it.
you need me? I'll be back. Not doing nothing.
Holla at me anytime.
But you get Al Simmons, like before he becomes Spawn.
Yeah.
He's like the baseline. As soon as you buy the battle pass, you get Al Simmons, and then like I think like level 5 you get Spawn.
That's
And
really
then,
cool.
like,
And Sam without his mask is the other one, right? Sam
yeah.
without his mask.
I would say what
I think that one's
Because it's like the
after,
burn
actually.
face. That's what I
Yeah.
mean. Like it's the later one kind of thing.
Yeah, and
What-
then Alucard's in there somewhere. I don't know.
Did you see the Weed Man one? That was a weird fucking one they announced at one point. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, I didn't know.
Warzone came out with a skin that's just like a dude like head to toe in weed. It's called like Weed Man, and I was like, "What the fuck, guys?"
let him live.
This was like last.
They knew
month
their
or
player
something
base.
Like that. It's fucking insane.
But I'm glad you're having a great time with all your games. What else are you playing?
Yeah.
Anything else? Rotation.
Oh, I'm still playing Tears of the Kingdom. I'm still playing the new Ninja Turtles because the DLC came out for that. I ordered the Jurassic Park collection thing that's supposed to come out soon,
Oh yeah,
which I'm very excited for because it's all the old Jurassic Park games. So very excited for that.
I just beat Tears of the Kingdom this last weekend.
Last thing I did was I got the Master Sword. That's the last thing I did.
I have not like.
I
not
had
in
to
my-
tell.
it's
I had
not
to
in
tell
my-
myself.
My backlog is fucking huge, guys.
I
still
literally-
need to finish Mario Rabbids 2. It's fucking
I think I
that game's
got that,
great.
and I'm like,
I had to sit down and be honest with myself.
Street Fighter 6,
and
yeah,
be
that's
like,
another
let
one
me
I'm still
let me
fucking
sit
playing.
let me sit down and knock this out. But JJ, anything else? Any other honorable mentions?
Oh, that's right. There's a Doom weapon pack for Warzone too, right?
oh
Comes
shit,
with the
I didn't even
super
know about
shotgun
that.
or something like that, and the chainsaw.
That's cool.
If I remember correctly.
Other than that, every once in a while I get that itch that I need to scratch. That's like, I really want to beat someone with a bicycle, so I just play Yakuza again.
That's never a bad option.
Are you gonna get any of the new ones?
Of course.
oh hell yeah!
Don't you come on this show and ask?
Did you like a Dragon? By the way,
I did
I'm
like
curious.
a Dragon. I did miss, just beating people, wailing on someone with the
It's
bicycle.
fair, yeah.
But I liked the direction it went, and Judgment was still around. Like I hadn't beaten Judgment by the time Like a Dragon came out, so it was one of those where it's just like, if I really just want like old school Yakuza, I'll pop in Judgment in between. I can appreciate this for what it is.
And then now you get both.
yeah,
Now you have both.
Now they're like, we have our alternative timeline. That's not all timeline.
The
now
man who
there's
erased
two Yakuzas
the man who
coming
erased
out,
his
like-
name, and then
Yeah,
Like a
Infinite
Dragon,
Wealth.
Infinite Wealth. Marcos, what you playing?
I'm only playing one game. I don't know how you guys balance like 5 or 6 games at a
You
time.
haven't even. You don't even know.
That's the answer. The answer is you don't.
When I say all mine, you'll know.
But so I was really excited. I know you were really hyped about Street Fighter. I was really hyped about Mortal Kombat, even though it was like a secret game. Like in the sense that like people that are hyped for Tekken, that still doesn't come out for like 5 or 4 more months.
Yeah.
Tekken 8 looks great, by the way.
Mortal Kombat was just like, hey, bro, in 3 months, Mortal Kombat 1's coming back.
It was a secret, not so secret game.
It was a secret, and then it wasn't because David Zaslav wouldn't keep his fucking mouth shut.
Yeah.
That was the worst way to find out that game was coming out. Just in a
Board
fucking
meeting.
corporate meeting. Being
Yep.
like, by the way, Mortal Kombat's coming out this year. And also, stocks. You're like, what the fuck, dude?
I mean, on that note, like,
Also, Honey Boo Boo.
Yes. Also, more Honey Boo Boo on our streaming services.
I don't fucking understand, like, how you do anything like that. Like, because Mortal Kombat has always been a thing that it's a beast of marketing type thing. And
It's because he didn't know any better. He was the new CEO, and he just wanted to talk about money shit. Because he was also talking about Suicide Squad kills the Justice League. But we both know how that turned out.
Where is it?
It's supposed to be
coming.
February.
Yeah.
It's like the dragons.
But that game's been advertised.
They are
for like
coming.
They are coming.
February's Final Fantasy time.
There's a lot of stuff coming in
Right.
February. A lot of shit.
February is
we'll get
becoming
there.
a big month because like Horizon dropped February.
We'll get there. Stop it, Marcos. What are you playing?
Well,
There's an
I will say that I thought it was really interesting that Street Fighter actually took a step back for the first time that I've ever seen. Street Fighter is hard to play.
Street Fighter 6 is great.
Street Fighter 6 is great, but they also it's the first time Capcom has been like, we're going to make this a little bit easier for babies, and they made modern controls.
Yeah.
Like, good or bad, like, that's a kind of a good solution. Mortal Kombat has always been easy to pick up because their combos and things are easy. This game took a step in the other direction where it's just like, you look at a move list, and it's 3 pages of, like...
the Virtua Fighter route.
Yep.
Yeah,
So
Ed Boon was like, we redid everything. Like, we made a whole new fucking fighting system. And you're like, this feels the same, but you just changed the fucking buttons again. Because Mortal Kombat does not have a consistent move list from, like,
No,
beginning to end.
I swear the spear with Scorpion was down front punch last game.
It used to be, yeah. And now it's like back forward.
Back forward.
The only thing I think is still the same for a while is the slide for Sub-Zero. And even then, that wasn't the thing way back in the day. Like, it's not like the Hadouken that's been the exact same since Street Fighter
Quarter circle forward.
to 2
punch.
and like kind of
Yeah.
thing. Mortal Kombat, you're like, I don't fucking know. What is it now? Like, I really don't know
It
anymore.
legit puts you at a disadvantage if you played the last game.
Yo, 100%. 100%. It's a pain in the ass because you have to keep looking at your moves list.
I
You're
would
like, how do I do this now?
I would
Because
say
Johnny
that
Cage doesn't
with-
even have his projectile anymore.
I would say with Mortal Kombat, because full disclosure, haven't bought it yet.
Yeah, that's why I brought him.
I fucking love it. It's both awesome and terrible at the same time. But I'll explain why.
That is actually a good way to explain what
Yeah.
the fuck happened with that game.
That's fair. I'll get into the games I've played after the Mortal Kombat conversation. So
Oh, yeah, we
what's
can talk
up with
about it. So my biggest issue with that game right now is the customization is really fucking small. Like you
Oh,
can't
yeah.
make more than one character essentially, and it sucks because it's like, well, now I have Mariachi Sub-Zero forever, which I don't have an issue with, but I'm sure whoever will come over and wants to use Sub-Zero is going to have an issue with that.
Or maybe not.
And I can't have Jean-Claude Van Damme and normal Johnny Cage at the
You
same
don't
time.
want to play as the Baihuan?
Also, I hate the invasions thing.
The invasion things is pretty boring. It feels
Yeah.
like a phone game thing that's not a phone game thing at the same time. And every fight's like one round. And you're like, I guess I'm just going to murder everybody and then go through it. And then that's it. And
Thank
there's
you,
no
Talon
crypts.
Tree. I do appreciate that.
The crypt doesn't exist
making
anymore.
me feel good.
the what?
The crypt doesn't exist anymore.
The crypt doesn't exist.
So you have to unlock everything. Like it's almost like a battle pass because you're leveling up each character to get all their
I don't
stuff.
like that.
The good news is that you can still do the second fatality as long as you know the combination for it. You don't have to unlock it. When you unlock it, it just adds it to your moves list, and that's it.
Oh, okay.
So that's the good news. So like at least we got that going for it.
Game facts.
But
but it is legitimately a little bit harder to play. you have to figure out systems on your own, like the Johnny Cage star system.
It gives you no explanation.
There's no.
I figured it out on accident.
Did you guys go into any of the training modes?
I did, but it doesn't tell you shit.
It doesn't tell you anything.
It tells you like how to do your basic, like here's how to jump, here's how to block, here's how to do like a reversal. Like their advanced stuff is like still good to know, but none of it involves the actual characters themselves.
See, character specific trials and things of that nature, or and explanations, are how you balance out that complexity of a fighting game.
Yeah,
That's
Street
the best
Fighter
part.
6 has a shit ton.
Street Fighter 6
which is
has
what's
it.
great about it.
It's why
MK11 even had
Unis
it.
works. Unis is one of the I'm talking. It makes you feel like your fingers do this, but their trial system and explanations like make sure that you're good to go and set up for success. Not set up for success, but good to go in terms of understanding what the fuck you might be doing. Maybe.
Well, MK11 and MKX, which MKX is still my favorite Mortal Kombat, had character-specific training all the way down to the systems. Like, you can get really good just using that. You can't do that with MK1. MK1 is just very, like... You're on your own.
I'm fine with the difficulty in terms of any fighting system. You know, that's my preference, but you still got to have avenues to learn the characters properly. But again, I also think that
they legit just put you in a situation where the only way you can learn it is by fighting a lot. Like
I think that's the only thing Invasions is good for is like learning how to use somebody. And even then, like the fights are so short, you're like, I'm still not learning anything.
Damn, y'all are trying to get my pants.
Because that's the thing is like I was super excited for Mortal Kombat 1, and I both think it's an amazing game, but I think it's a bad game at the same time. Because the weird thing is that it's bad in the fact that like if you were just playing it by yourself, you're gonna find yourself not doing as much as you'd like to. Whereas if you play it with like online and a bunch of people who really know what they're doing, you're like, this game's fucking amazing, and you can do some crazy fucking shit in this game, but I don't know how to do any of that shit.
Yeah, it kind of sounds like they went into it with the arcade mentality.
Yes, it reminds me. This is going to sound bad, but it reminds me of when Street Fighter V first came out.
Right.
The only difference is it still has a really, really good story mode, because that story mode is like, oh my god, there you guys are the best at this, and keep fucking doing this forever. Because that climax is like, oh my god, this shit is batshit insane, and I love it.
It is one of the prettiest games. I will give it that.
Yes.
Everything about it looks so fucking crisp. I will say in the story mode, it is very weird that like because you have not played it yet. I know you haven't. You said so, but like, what is the biggest rage right now
About Mortal Kombat?
in stories in general?
Multiverse.
Guess what? Comes the Mortal Kombat.
Oh, is it a multiverse story?
Kind of.
I thought it was a new universe. I thought
Yes and no.
they did new universe shit like all the time. Is it like a multiverse?
There's literally a multiverse of Johnny Cages.
It's a timeline thing, is really what it comes down to.
It's not a timeline thing when it's just like we got to go to other universes and find other help.
Yeah, but they're all different. Just because here's the deal: is that every ending in Mortal Kombat 11 apparently is just canon. So
every ending in Mortal Kombat 11 is canon.
because the idea is that like everyone got to make it. This is technically a spoiler, but it's not like. But because you've already gotten into it, so I'll just mention it. Is that everybody has a timeline, and that's that's why it's like a multiverse, but it's not really at the same time. It's just that everybody got to make their specific timeline. So there are some timelines where somebody is like a dude or a girl when they weren't, kind of thing.
Yeah,
or something weird as shit about them, which I'm not going to explain that part about because it's really cool as it progresses. But it is, the whole thing is technically just about Liu Kang's new timeline that he made, because that's what makes it different. It's not a reboot. It's him literally looking at a timeline going, Shang Tsung is now stupid, Quan Chi is now dumb, go. And that's like, okay, cool. Like Liu Kang was very excited for his little pet project that just doesn't go the way he thought it would.
By the way, Shang Tsung always has been flamboyant. He is the most extra flamboyant Shang Tsung has ever been.
He's great.
Oh, Liu Kang.
Hey,
They really lean into like the versions of them to the extreme. Like when Bihan shows up, you're like, I'm douchebag Sub-Zero, and you're gonna fucking know it. You're like, oh yeah, I forgot how much of an asshole you are.
That's interesting. Well,
for some reason, Quan Chi is Indian.
He was. I don't know what the hell he was supposed to be.
He literally looks like Dawson before an accident.
There's a lot of weird things going on in that timeline.
Well,
But I'm not going to spoil much of it because it is a very. I think it's one of my favorite storylines they've done in quite some time.
Oh, really? I still like MKX, but it's
MKX is fun because Johnny Cage is Earth's mightiest fucking hero, and that's the funniest thing in the planet.
Y'all guys have done a good job at least painting a good picture on it.
It's great.
Worth the
It's both
investment,
great and
tough.
terrible.
By the way, Johnny Cage. On that note, most hilarious thing in a guy in a fighting game
He's
ever.
so fucking great. If anyone wants to know a second fatality, it's forward down back circle, and it's from far away. I have it memorized because I've been
the
using
car?
it a lot. Yeah, it's the car one. I've been using it a lot.
Well, we'll have to check it out. Y'all guys come into Discord. Let us know your Mortal Kombat 1 opinions as well there, alongside drop them in the chat. Thank you guys for giving a little breakdown there. Now,
Really, really fun side note. Just on that note, because he's talking about fatalities. This is the dude that won King of the Controller tournament hosted by themexcellence and hit a fatality on a single mother. And
I did it very fast. I did it so fast. I didn't even hesitate.
we don't
And it was
support
with Johnny
this.
Cage.
It was the puppet.
It was the puppet one, yeah.
Well, because I'm on the opposite camp, and let's not get into my opinions on Mortal Kombat.
We can't have opinions on the game yet.
You can still have it, yeah.
Oh no.
By the way, if anybody hasn't gotten the game yet, if you buy it now, they're selling the Jean-Claude Van Damme skin in the store thing right now.
Bought it too early.
I would say that.
Well, it was a pre-order bonus, so you got them for free,
got 'em for
technically. So, or now you actually have to buy them in the store with in-game currency. So, and that's only it's only gonna be there for maybe a week, so you should probably jump on that. Who knows?
All right.
I would say, in terms of what I'm playing right now, where do I start? Doing some indie games. Knocked out Inscription for the first time. That was awesome. I've been playing Labyrinth, which is that nice. If you think of horror PC game, it's exactly what you think of. No attacking, lights, figuring out shit, playing with some friends. It's a lot of fun. Highly recommend it. Way more fun than I was ready for. Okay. As I mentioned before, just beat Tears of the Kingdom this last weekend. Nice. That was a good time. I'm playing. Oh my gosh, I'm playing a platformer right now that I got put on, and I'm trying to remember how to say its name. I think it's Pseudo Regalia. There we go.
I never would have guessed that.
Pseudo Regalia. I don't know how to describe. It's an indie game pulled out of it basically is basing itself off of like the N64 era. The control scheme itself is amazing. Soundtrack's awesome. Very ethereal. You understand if you look at the game and play it. I'm not a furry.
No one was gonna say that. Until you said it.
I got to defend myself before they play that game.
Were you gonna say the character's hot? Because that's what would have caused that.
No, it's just not like if you're playing it, like half of you is like I want to be here for a great platformer.
I want to see.
The other half of you is I'm here for polygon cake. I'm here for polygon goat cake, and they don't shy away from it. So that's been a good time. I actually just picked that up recently, and the character.
Oh, okay. I see what you mean.
Yeah, the character art. Like I said, it's based off of the N64.
It's Lola Bunny.
But they definitely.
Oh.
It's like, yeah, there you go. That's the character model. You're like, I have questions.
That dude really likes thighs. Whoever made that game.
Oh yeah, no, you like thighs.
It's fair.
Good on you. Of course, I'm playing Street Fighter 6. Always the usual fighting game rotation: DNF Duel, Guilty Gear.
We've gone past it so simply too deep. We've gone past that. We're talking about games now.
No, let them chat.
No one cares about your sex life anymore.
No, don't let them chat. Stop it. None of that. The chat can say whatever they want.
I'm just fucking with them.
Kidding. We're talking about games.
Can she do fatalities?
No, I'm kidding. But no, when I say it's actually one of the like I don't like to throw this out because I'm beating it. One of the better platforming games might be up there, and that I've played in a hot minute. The move set is so good. It is definitely. I think someone described it as best as, you know how you feel when you play Mario 64 and Mario can do everything in that game. It is the same sort of vein. You have the triple jump, back jump. The wall kicks are amazing. It's a really good.
I assume it has a good camera though, because the second you said it's like Mario 64, I cringed at the thought of the camera.
You got full control over the camera.
Okay,
no
good.
worries. Sometimes it's a little rough because you have to do a lot at once.
Okay.
But the one thing I will say about the game, you want to talk about not holding your hand, motherfucker. It's you just got to know shit off memory. There's no fast travel. There's no map. There is just I have to know where the fuck to go. And
That's an old school 64 thing.
oh, it's an
or
old
just in general, yeah.
It's an old school. You'll figure that shit out yourself. But it's a Metrovania. so
All the young people are spoiled by shit like that.
No.
Where we were like, I had to draw this by hand and hope to God for the best.
Dude, I actually.
I'm pretty sure I still have a notebook somewhere that has like my steps for the water temple in Ocarina.
Yeah, I had a notebook full of just like how to get the Master Sword and Link to the Past kind of shit. This is the upgraded one at least.
In the water temple, speaking of that, I reset the game because I thought I broke the game because I just couldn't find a key. Played all the way back up to the water temple, got stuck again.
Right, yeah.
And I ended up beating it. But I also, fun fact, I actually went through Majora's Mask for the first time this year.
Okay.
I started it up a couple times. I'd never sat down and beat it. I'd actually argue it might be my favorite Zelda game.
Oh, people like it more than Ocarina.
I think it is better than Ocarina, and I don't think I could ever come out of that saying
I don't
that.
have N64 nostalgia because I didn't have one. So I have a bunch of friends. They're like, "Oh, I love those games." I'm like, "I don't fucking give a shit about those games." Like, legitimately, I was a Link to the Past man. So that was my thing for a while.
I think A Link to the Past holds more of my nostalgia than Ocarina or
100% for
Majora.
me.
But I do prefer Majora over Ocarina.
Yeah, I hear that a lot too from a lot of people.
When you
and it
get
makes sense.
When you get into some of the just mechanics of the game, it's like you could tell. I was like, I don't know what Nintendo was on that day, but they were in their weird, abstract, just in their bag. Soundtrack awesome. Stone Temple is one of the best themes in video gaming. So that's been a fun time. But I've been working through a lot of I've been doing a nice healthy mix of indies and playing a lot of catch up there. If you were to look at my Steam list, it's pretty rough at the moment.
Guys, look at more indies if you haven't had a chance to, because there are so many really good indie games out there.
They're on fire right now.
And if you like a game that they don't make more of, sometimes somebody just did.
Yeah.
Like there's a game coming out called Spy. I want to say it's called Spy 64 or something like that. And somebody just made their own GoldenEye game that's supposed to come out. It's an indie game.
There's a game I had to drop because I had Baldur's Gate, like you said, it's an investment. But I want to go back to it, but I'm like, I have too much to balance right now. And it's a WrestleQuest. So if you wrestling and you like turn-based RPGs, play WrestleQuest. It's really fun. It has a lot of if you're into old school 80s wrestling or
they got
just
a lot of
wrestling
likenesses for it.
Yeah, they got a lot of likenesses. They make a lot of cool references, and also the battle system is pretty unique. Not unique. It's basically an active battle system.
I do like that cover art.
Yeah, it's
it's
apparently a
great.
really good game.
It's really
It took a while
fun.
to come out though.
It did take a while. They delayed it several times. I think Key posted it in our chat, and I was like, dude, I've been waiting for this for 3 years.
Yeah, I was thinking of the Kickstarter thing at one point originally.
Yeah.
Because I had friends who were talking about it constantly, and I was like, "What the fuck is this?" And then it got delayed a bunch of times.
It did. It finally came out this year around the time of Baldur's Gate 3, actually. I think they were a week apart, so it's I'm sorry, Macho Man, I failed you. But yeah, it's really cool if you're looking for something new to play, an indie title, like you said, if you're into turn-based RPGs and with an active battle system. It's there, yeah.
I'll have to check it out. I'm a sucker for that 80s aesthetic. So I'm a sucker for a lot of nostalgia aesthetic. You can win me over with a lot.
Yeah,
Shadow
there's a lot of
Shogun.
stuff.
That's also a statement I totally get. I did not get into Majora's Mask the first time I tried it. I would say on your first run through, because I've played it actually twice. On your first run through, dude, if you haven't used a guide, You got that first time. It is not like, dude. It's not a. Don't go in blind. It's not a blind friendly. You can.
It's one of those difficult ones that we were talking about where you have to have a notebook because it's a time-based thing.
You have to rewind.
Inverse time is soon. You can inverse time the moment you can, and then Song of Inverse Time.
I mean, Majora's Mask was one of those games that was made when you could still buy Nintendo Power to hold your hand.
Yeah,
and so
I always laugh that McDonald's
use your Nintendo Power.
There. You're like, how would anybody play?
First save point.
Yeah, you couldn't do anything in that game.
That's kind of how I got into speedrunning because I was like, oh, it's Majora. I could totally make it to that first save point before it resets. Like, I was watching like how long it takes to reset, like counting in my head. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi.
Yeah, it's really funny when the McDonald's ones had those. You're like, dude, what the fuck? Like, don't put this as your game in here.
Yeah, but I couldn't speedrun.
For me, that was Banjo and Kazooie. I used to be like, and I still haven't played to this day since then. I was like, all right.
You do the Xbox replay.
Let me get these jiggies, baby. But honestly, I have become a huge advocate of this. Oh, and then like I have a litany of RPGs I'm always playing. Still working through Elden Ring, Lies of P. I
hear Lies of P is great, by the way.
I have heard.
I hear it's amazing.
Immaculate Game Pass. It is Game Passable. Shin Megami Tensei 5.
You haven't passed Elden Ring? You fucking love that game.
It's
game's really long.
It's so much. It's so much.
It was my most played game of like last year, and I still didn't fucking beat it.
It's just so much. But I'm a big advocate, and I'm going to be a big advocate for it because I got one this year, and I genuinely say, if you just aren't in the financial position to get a full-on PC, but you want to experience some Steam games, the Steam Deck is immaculate. It has been an amazing indie journey, and some of the mainline titles work on there.
Baldur's Gate 3 works on there.
They sell them used now, so they're even slightly cheaper too.
Like, you have some options there, but it has been one of the best investments that I could have made, and it, like, especially if you like the Switch, you just get a lot of more bang for your buck in terms of some of your options on that. And it's an emulation machine. So you can play any game you want to if you really, really want to. Sail the seven seas like Luffy if you need to.
Yeah, there's also a lot of guides online that'll help you with like if you want to play a game and it's probably not working the way you thought it would, just look them up and somebody's probably figured it out.
I would also say, how do I put it? Are you trying to do the 3DS version? Because that also might be the case. I make the recommendation.
For Majora's Mask?
Yeah, I make the recommendation of going all the way back.
I did Ocarina on the 3DS, and that game was much easier with using that because you could take the boots off on and off the touchscreen.
There's some nice quality of life things.
Exactly.
Very nice quality of life.
But Majora's Mask is actually the one where Ocarina of Time 3D, you're like, this is an enhanced experience. I've heard Majora's Mask is not the same. So might make the recommendation. If you have a Switch, it is on the Switch Online emulator that they have built in. But
Simply Too Deep, I'm not sure how many fighting games I could name off the top of my head, so I couldn't really do a list.
We can't do a top 10 between
Yeah,
the
that would be
the
really
countdown.
That would be really difficult.
fighting games?
But by the way, number one is Marvel vs. Capcom 2.
Yeah.
Man, you're not wrong.
It's really hard to
There's
do a
four
whole
of us.
list.
We're gonna disagree. Like
We're all going to disagree with what our numbers are.
Tina, guess what? Gaming went on a long time.
It did. Let's talk about the thing.
So now we're here for what we're called the show, right?
We'll talk about J. Jonah Jameson. I'm just kidding. I know.
But actually, I think gaming was so long. Sammy, I'm gonna do you a solid. I'm gonna do a clean break. That cool? Thank you. We're actually gonna do a little commercial break, and then we'll get right into those anime topics, titties and all. JJK doesn't even have titties.
Jesus Christ.
End of show. Anime. Woo! We didn't talk about anime yet. And we're halfway in the show.
Yes.
So
I didn't see any titties in JJK. I don't know what you're
nah, it's anti-titties. I'm not caught up to today's episode, so don't spoil me on the greatness. I'm kidding. I've read it.
I was about to say,
Yeah,
you read everything.
I've read everything, but it don't mean it's a sexy episode today.
Somebody mentioned the game, but I don't think the game's out yet, as far as I know.
No. We can't say that four-letter word anymore. Can't say MAGA.
Oh, okay.
Rearranged. I'm kidding.
It's because they made
MAGA?
it because they're coming out with a Jujutsu Kaisen game. It's one of those arena fighters.
Yeah.
No,
You didn't see how thick Nanami was looking.
it's some.
It's fair.
That JJK game is made by CC2, so it's probably going to play something akin to Storm with some arena element.
It's got 2v2 as far as I know, so that's the thing that's interesting.
Anime games have to be in my hands, and to be honest, it's fighters or bust. I'm kidding. I do like CC2 style. This one has to be a little bit more. I just don't want it to be in the My Hero camp. My, Boku no B tier is
it varies.
I have feelings on that anime anyway, but we're not talking about some B tier anime. We're talking about JJK to start things off, and so we do have quite a bit we're going to cover. So I'm going to keep us jetting on today's, but coming in from kind of transcending seasons, since it's come from summer into now, which we're going to be talking a bit on summer, going to be talking a bit on fall, going to be talking about what we watching. JJK had about a month-long break, hence why it's able to kind of branch out between multiple seasons, or multiple actual physical seasons. This season so far has, I think we've come on here and said, it's been beautiful, but is everyone up to date with it so far?
I'm up to date unless there's a new episode. I don't know when they come out. I just watched them
Today.
Okay, well,
Thursday.
Yeah, missed that one.
I did not watch today's episode either.
Because we're here. Don't you spoil it, chat. Don't you do it.
And because I had to catch up on like a bunch of other shit.
I will
We have a
say,
big one that we caught up on.
Qual's 21 bringing up the next chapter of JJK. That's almost something we can get into because that's also on a big cliffhanger.
No. I don't even want to allude to it. I don't want to take that. I don't want to take that experience away from people.
ending it already.
But JJK's in a great place in the manga. But today's anime discussion, I'll get us off on. JJK still feels and looks immaculate. Just doing good. I think I'm in a weird place because, where I watch manga, I expect good things from the JJK. I think it looks good, and they've still kept on the production quality. There's been some interactions that I've been like, but for the most part,
weird gear shift though, because the first half of what's out right now is a flashback.
Well, it's how it operates in the manga, and it does set up what's happening.
Yeah,
I mean. Yeah. It does give you the context behind one thing that I'm certain you've seen, where you're like, "Oh, that shouldn't have been back." But I definitely, sorry, Shadow Shogun, made me vomit in my mouth. But I'm kidding. Not gonna give you a hard time on that. But I guess it's really hard because I'm like, it's great. And I'm enjoying it. And that's how I feel right now. But I'm also a manga reader, so it's that translation.
I have a weird question on this note, and it's almost specific to you. Because you've read all the manga, and you were like, Chainsaw Man, latest season of Demon Slayer, Oh,
well, Chainsaw Man's adaptation I liked more than the manga. I think the manga's meh.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I think it's... I
have heard that several times.
It's one of the most overrated things that
yeah.
I've ever... I'm like, it's a solid 7.
Okay, well that's fine.
But go ahead.
But in general, you're like, and now you're like JJK, not that meh, but good, not great, or somewhere in between. I just have a really personalized question. As a manga reader, what does it take to make you go this is amazing? Once it transitions,
I think. Let me rephrase that. I'm really liking JJK's adaptation. That's not the problem.
Okay,
that's I guess maybe I'm not articulating it properly. I'm saying it's good, but I expect it to be good because it's JJK,
Yeah.
So I'm like, it's great, looks great. I like the story beats.
Starting from greatness.
Yeah, it's starting from greatness. Demon Slayer has story problems inherently that I knew were relevant in the manga that I was like, a pretty animation can't carry this shit for that long, right? You gotta have some plot that pop out of your ass. But for me, it has to be so
what's the anime of the year so far? Is it Hell's Paradise?
No. But I love Hell's Paradise. I do like Hell's Paradise. Anime of the year, that's not including some of these One Piece episodes because okay, so let me be honest. I don't have I haven't sat down and thought about anime of the year. But if I were
we could probably squeeze in another Animexcellence.
But no, we'll definitely. I mean, to be honest, if I'm talking about a straight adaptation from a source, it's one that we have on here that's in hiatus. I do really like Zom 100. I think it's excellent. I think it did everything immaculately so far, or at least, and it looks good, except for being stalled out every other week.
That threw me the fuck off. I was like, man, I'm probably like 4 episodes behind, and then I'm like, I'm 2? What?
No, you're right on pace. I think that release schedule killed the hype around it. There's been some comedy anime that I've watched recently that I've been enjoying.
I don't understand like how because like Demon Slayer blew up. Like people like dress up like it. Like Sam has like, hey bro, who did my niece dress up as kind of thing. But I'm like Zom 100. I'm like, this is the most millennial anime that I've ever fucking seen, and there's no one else is talking about it but us.
I feel like first of all, it's hard to talk about just because. I hate my job. I hate my job. I hate my job. Thank God for the zombie apocalypse.
But it's a great start.
But I think it's more than that. I think they I feel like I said, the animation, it's funny. It's like, and it is very much it's very millennial in terms of the way that its storytelling goes about itself.
Yeah.
But what makes me to your question, when I read a manga and I see it translated, I still get excitement from quality animation and or seeing moments elevated on screen. I like when adaptations are... There's actually, to give a show a little sneak peek, Bleach. That manga and anime are night and day in the best way possible. One Piece, a lot of the stuff that's happening that happened in Wano was elevated, arguably, from the manga to the anime to the point where Oda's like, damn, they got it. Like, I mean, shoot, some of the best animation I've seen, I can't believe I've had this lovely opportunity to say it, it's come from One Piece this year. You haven't got to it yet. Luffy has my best animated sequence of the year.
I'm sure he's got spoiled on it on TikTok the same way I have.
But
that's what I think it is. Yeah, that sequence is really well animated.
But I would say that genuinely, like, it's just a matter of are you elevating? Because adaptations that come out bad, and I don't need an adaptation just to come out and have bad animation, right? Like,
okay.
It does have to have quality. Are you elevating the source material, or are you doing your best to interpret it in a well-developed fashion? I think the emotional beats are always going to hit a little bit harder in anime for me. There's a lot, because I started off as an anime watcher, so it's always going to like have a special kind of point to it.
I mean, I've never asked, but I feel like the reason you started reading so much manga is the reason why I read all the books on the Story of Ice and Fire after I saw the first season. I was like, I cannot wait.
Well, it happens to everyone. It happened to me with My Hero. I was like, I'm just going to read the manga now. And now I'm like, well, now I'm so far in the manga, I don't have anyone to talk with about this.
Welcome to the show. We actually did talk about My Hero like 2 episodes ago.
The one that kind of did that for me, there's been a bunch, but the one that most recently did that for me was Vinland Saga.
Okay.
Because, like, I blew through that first season, and I was like, I want to know what happens now.
When I heard the first season is just, like, the first 10 pages, I was like, what?
and that's
very impressive.
That's my whole thing. Like, for me, which actually, similar sort, right? Like, one of my best examples was probably Demon Slayer, where I said, I really like that first season. I knocked out the manga up until wherever it was in a day. Manga's also faster to consume, so a lot of the times I can digest it and be like, cool, I'm facilitating a lot more.
There are whole pages that are just action shots.
And then
so it makes it go by quick.
I actually like to read a lot of manga that hasn't been adapted yet, because I like to get hype about adaptations. Great adaptations. I will always love great adaptations of quality manga, but there's a lot of the times where they don't deliver on that. And there's some manga, and sometimes it's painful. Like, sometimes there's shows that end that deserve a lot more, that are just like, hey, you know what? Now I have to read the manga, and I know in my heart of hearts I'll never get that 3rd season of Magi. Like, I want Magi, please just close out for me.
It sucks when that happens.
But yeah, like, no. Just to your point, as long as you're elevating the source material, as long as you're like, and then there's some times where I think the only time it becomes like a true detriment is when the animation is significantly worse, or when the artist is so good that it's like, that's just a tough one to replicate.
Look at you, One Punch Man season 2, you sick fuck.
Yeah, One Punch Man has One Punch Man, Murata is the best manga artist, I will argue, in terms of just he makes some of those shots. You'll be like, what the fuck?
Yeah, they're like, holy fuck.
How did you do that? Whereas, and there's some where it gets elevated. Like, I love shonen wise, Hunter x Hunter. I say it both ways sometimes. Togashi Kid, Takashi drawing sometimes. He likes skip out, or he puts a lot of text. Hunter gets helped out a lot by that animation.
It does. It's like a Bendis manga somehow. It's like, fuck, why is there so much?
Before I switch gears, another example of that is Blue Lock, where it's almost there but not quite.
Oh, Blue Lock's fucking beautiful.
The anime.
Yeah,
the anime's really good.
I have no idea what the manga looks like.
The manga's better. Like, it's so like the way he does his art. Because I've been hype on Blue Lock. I started reading it, got to the adaptation. I was like, yes,
I didn't even know you were reading the manga. You were just like, watch this anime, and we were in the middle of World Cup hype too.
Yeah, it was perfect. It was a perfect storm.
They did that on purpose.
It's a perfect storm of things. But yeah, I had read Blue Lock beforehand. I'd read Zom 100 beforehand.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And Zom 100 is a little harder to read because like the translations aren't out all the time.
Yeah.
But needless to say, like a lot of those great adaptations are going to win my heart over 9 times out of 10. What I will say is, what I leave as anime only, a lot of the times is romance. I like to go in. I like to have my episodes. Who's going to win? And you know in your heart of hearts, it's not your choice.
No, it never is.
But when it is, or anime only shows like Bento.
Okay.
Which if you haven't seen,
by the way,
Bento is slept on. It's one of the, it's not anime only, but Bento is slept on, came out in the early 2010s. It's awesome.
I will say, because in America, in Hollywood, like it's really hard to write a romance at this point that I don't give a fuck about, like a straight rom-com, a romance movie. I'm just shooting from my ass. I think Crazy Rich Asians is the last one that I really loved.
I like that one a lot, actually.
But I can't think of one between like that 2019 and now. I mean, maybe Everything Everywhere All at Once, if you want to call that a romance movie.
It's in every category.
Yeah, that's a tough one to call anything.
Like, I've struggled with putting a genre on it. They try and say dark comedy, and I said that's a facet.
I think maybe the Jamie Lee Curtis with the wiener hands is romance, but
there was a rom-com.
I mean, it literally has
it was
the sweetest thing that has been memed 1,000 times. It's like, in another life, I'd love to do taxes and laundry with you. Like,
it's a great line.
Yeah, but I will say that outside of those rare examples that prove this is the norm, goddamn, like, is anime great at writing romance? Like,
it's the best at it.
There's something about it, the way it hits different when you're like, wow, the voice acting's doing some things. The music kicks in. And yeah, you might know, and they can turn a stereotypical love story and just have the freedom and creativity to do a lot of more dynamic things with it.
100%.
I mean, like, yes, there's, for every good romance, there's a harem out there. But
the best example of a good romance thing in Western stuff right now is because it's highly influenced by anime, which is My Adventures with Superman, between Clark and Lois.
Thank you.
That thing is so fucking
so good.
wonderful, and every interview is like, it's just an anime romance thing that we did. It's just what we did with them, and you're like, yes, keep doing that forever, please, for the love of God, this is amazing.
It was the first time. It's first time I'm fucking with Superman so heavy.
But like in anime, like everyone loves Miyazaki. Miyazaki never makes a romance like the chief center of the movie, and
he's got a planet to save.
But it's also like romance just happens. Like it doesn't change you. It's part of your story,
part of your identity.
Exactly, and I'm like, that's awesome. And then the other guy, Makoto Shiniki, the guy that did Suzume, Your Name, and all that other shit, he's always like, I focus on what makes relationships hard, and then I make a story about it. So 1 centimeter at a time is just like, you're not the same person at 15, at 25, at 35, and I'm going to write a story about that. Your Name is like distance, like dating someone long distance. At some point, somebody is going to do something that their life pulls them this way and your life pulls them that way.
How do you mitigate, manage, and how do you accept?
Also, base dude, you're completely right. Toriyama can't write romance to save his fucking life.
No, he just turns like every female character
I mean-
into like a mom, and then they're done.
Shout out to you, base dude. Number one, first of all, because he watched Bento. It's great. Y'all should watch it. I'm gonna keep on hyping it up until you watch it.
Also, Lamar, I have gone through all of Dragon Ball Super's manga. That thing is both awesome and terrible at the same time.
Man, it could be so good if they were just to skip the shit. I know.
My biggest issue is that the rules for a lot of the moves are completely fucking different, and it's just it fucking
Toriyama
frustrates
forgets
me.
a lot of shit.
Well, he's not even like he doesn't even fully write it. He gives them a bunch of ideas, and they go from there. And I hate the way Super Saiyan Blue works in the manga, but and also I hate the fact that the Kaioken is not something he uses in the manga. It's like it
Yeah.
frustrates me to no end.
But on
When
the
it came
inverse,
back,
the Tournament
I
of
was
Power
like-
sucks in the manga. It's the fucking worst.
but what I like about the manga in this case would be, I feel like they do get more creative with the
They get
powers.
really creative. Well, like
And they
that's
do
why
things
That's why the
that
Goku Black Saga in the manga is fucking great.
So here's the weird thing that I have on Dragon Ball, because I'm not the biggest follower. I haven't read anything past Super, but I'm like, when Super ends, they literally have 6 plots that they can do, and all of them
One that we'll talk about today.
but like, that would be interesting. I'm like, they could go help Jiren get revenge. They could go hang out with Kaba and like figure out what the other Saiyans are fucking up
would
to.
love for
You
that
said
to be a
you
thing.
when Super ends. No, when it's just arc.
When
When the
Super
anime
paused.
ends. So when the anime ends.
Yeah, he
at
meant the
moment.
anime.
Because the manga is still very much going on.
Yeah, I understand that, but it's just kind of like there was all these other things because they still haven't leveled up. thank
Broly's-
God.
You're right, Bester. They're
Broly
completely
showed
different
up?
stories.
Broly
yeah, Broly
showed up. Like there was all these interesting. There's 4 universes that weren't in the Tournament of Power that are just like, yeah, they're too strong for you.
Yeah, you're getting to the creative stuff that they just say. We'll give you Kid Goku again.
Toriyama forgot.
Twitter brought up something that made me laugh really hard. Does Broly know that Gogeta was a fusion, or does he just think he's a random dude who showed up to
I want to fight that guy that sounded like the both of you together.
Like, I would love for him to be asking tips from Goku and Vegeta. How do I beat that guy? They're just looking at each other like, don't fucking say that it was us. That we almost murdered your ass because you were fucking going haywire.
I feel like they had to explain it some way.
They will eventually when he's
Goku
like
will
figures
let-
that shit out.
It's like that was us, but not us, but kind of us. New entity.
Dragon Ball
Vegeta's gonna
Daima,
be
though.
mad. Vegeta's gonna be like, "We have a tactical advantage in case he goes back."
In case he goes crazy.
And Goku's just gonna be like, "Oh, that was me and Vegeta fused."
You want to see us do it again? It's like, no.
Actually, you want to fuse with me, Broly?
Let's do this shit. You gotta learn this dance.
I'll take a quick sidestep since we're on Dragon Ball, and then we'll get back to JJK. Don't worry, we'll come from top. Dragon Ball did release a little something.
Dragon Ball Daima.
Game.
So I got on my anime hotbox, soapbox.
Usually you have to hotbox before you soapbox about
So,
anime.
quick synopsis for you two, since you don't know what's going on. So, the synopsis for the anime, so because it's an anime apparently, an anime series, is that due to an evil conspiracy, somebody made a wish where they turned everybody into children, and so Goku now has to.
Was it the same wish from JT? I can't defeat
No,
Goku, so
that
I
one-
wish he was smaller.
It's not because the Black Star Dragon Balls aren't a thing from what I can tell. So,
Thank God.
thanks to the wish, he now has to travel with Kaioshin to a new world to figure out how to reverse it, since the Dragon Balls were used, and it will take a year for them to come back. And so he takes the power pole with him since he's not, full power
Right.
anymore.
I like this.
There's some stuff in there that I'm very excited about, by the way.
Yeah.
This is the most conflicted,
really.
and I mean this in the best way possible.
It's
I mean, would I prefer more super anime? Probably.
Yeah, because
well, here's the thing: Super anime leads to Goat Man, and I don't want to fight Goat Man. This is better.
There's shit beyond
like
that,
Moro
but also
arcs.
Moro's really good.
the Moro arc's actually really, really good.
they the end, is but they
It leads to Frieza Black.
this is, yeah. What's wrong with black?
I have a problem with Frieza being black after calling people monkeys for 30
There's
years.
a great Devil Artemis video for you guys to look up, by the way, when you get a chance. Please look up Devil Artemis when you get a chance, because those things are funny. But no, I'm very excited for this because it's supposed to be after whatever Super is doing, I guess now, and then it's supposed to be before the end of Z because that's when everything in Dragon Ball Super takes place, anyways. So that's why I'm very excited because there's a few things that I noticed from especially Goku's outfit is that it's the closest it's getting, like it's slowly morphing into his end of Z outfit. Is what I noticed from it. But for some reason, Vegeta's still wearing the same goddamn armor. Like, when are you gonna get rid of that fucking thing, dude? Like,
it's his fit.
It's been forever, man. Wear the leather jacket at the end of Z. You looked really cool with that. Is all I'm saying.
Mustache.
For me, so I'm not gonna shit on it. Why I say I'm conflicted is this looks beautiful.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
It does, yeah.
Gorgeous. Well, looks like it's well animated, well produced, lots of money thrown at it. Then you sit there and you remember the fuck happened. Why is Super not getting this? You know what I mean? And you're like,
yeah,
y'all had this in the tank, which Toei. I know y'all got this in the tank because One Piece. Y'all motherfuckers playing games, all right? Y'all can do this. Y'all can do this shit when you want to, and it's painful when you don't. Because this is probably some of the best looking Dragon Ball anything we've gotten since the Broly movie. I think is like peak.
It's probably the best thing that Super has.
Peak. And so for them to even like produce something that I'm like, wow, this is on that same tier. You can even see in some of the shots that they're using that same kind of softer. Especially in the last portion here, you can look that they're using that same softer, new baseline designs that they had.
The design that they used to like draw new Saiyans like Kaba and Kefla and stuff like that.
No, I wouldn't even say that. There's an animation kind of illustration difference.
Yeah,
right?
100%.
Like that's more akin to the Broly movie than it is to Super proper. Because yes, they do still have the kind of like the thinner fits that they did, but that was across the board for Super, right? Like all the muscles kind of got toned back.
Yeah.
Trunks got butchered. But
a lot of people did for a bit on there.
But this is like the design, the actual illustration is more akin to Super Broly, and so it's just an interesting thing where I was like, damn, y'all have this, but y'all don't want to do it.
The fandom is super split on this thing.
Do I think I'm going to enjoy it? Probably. I like Dragon Ball. I'm like Dragon Ball. Do I think that, for the love of gosh, you don't have to turn Goku into a kid for him to be a fun character.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And I would actually, if they wanted to do more of a Dragon Ball homage, I'm certain people would be wild in if they just went back to that time frame and highlighted characters from Dragon Ball and really put some effort there too, because I think Dragon Ball is amazing.
I'm sorry this is a left turn, but I have a very weird stance on because they're basically, I mean, this is a business and they're trying to make money off Dragon Ball, and so they're just like, that space between Z and GT, how much shit can we fit in there?
GT doesn't exist.
Well, GT is after the end of Dragon Ball Z, technically. So this is like, you could technically do whatever the fuck you want to do at that point.
I'm just saying, they're trying to fit. They're still trying to keep it canonical, and but my weird opinion is that nobody really probably watched Dragon Ball itself. Like, not
that's the thing. Most of America has not watched normal Dragon Ball.
Yeah. So it's just like, dude, there's $1 million to be, maybe $1 billion to be made by just redoing Dragon Ball. Am I right or am I wrong?
I think Dragon Ball is in need of an update, 100%. Because I mean, you don't even need to do anything too crazy. Just Dragon Ball Kai.
Look, see, you're tripping over.
Call it Kai.
Kai Dragon Ball.
The weird thing about Dragon Ball is how Funimation treats Dragon Ball. It's very fucking strange because there's Blu-rays like they treat Z really, really well.
Yeah,
kind of, because they still fuck up here and there. Like, they have Blu-rays, they have, like, fucking all of these special ones that you can buy that are really easy and nicer to look at. Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball GT, they just throw them out, and they're like, this is normal DVD, go fuck yourself. Even though there's Dragon Box versions in Japan, and there's this really fucking badass French set of normal Dragon Ball where they color-corrected everything, and it's fucking gorgeous, and we're not going to get any of that shit.
It's... because Funimation knows where the money is. Like,
it's just, it frustrates me to no end.
English speaking America, right? Because in Latin America, Dragon Ball was huge.
It still is.
It's still
massive.
Like regular OG Dragon Ball without the Z was huge in Spanish and Portuguese speaking countries. and French, evidently.
Also, all you Falconer dub people who love that shit, go fuck yourselves. I hate that. I hate that fucking soundtrack so much. I hate it with a passion.
I can't ride with you there.
I hate it.
I like both.
It's terrible.
I think they're both.
It's got
great.
2 or 3 good songs of the entire fucking thing.
I was about to say, but you
Best
also
Cell
like
Jam.
the.
Come on.
See, that's a good one. That one's a good one. The Vegeta one's a good one. The Super Saiyan 3 one. Those are the fucking 3, and that's the end of it. I have nothing else after that.
I'm with him on this one.
It's a terrible fucking soundtrack.
Yeah, I can like 2
The
soundtracks.
Funimation dub is also really bad. It's really, really bad, especially in the beginning.
But it's just one of those things where Dragon Ball is so interesting. Like Tien is so intimidating. Everything with Piccolo is so cool. Even the massacre of the Red Army would be really cool to see, just remastered. Like I just would want to see that. And I get that, like that's actually one of the weird things that I had when people were hating on the Dragon Ball movie. I know it was bad. It was 100% bad. But
Which one?
The
Evolution?
one Evolution.
Oh,
It's really bad.
I've never heard of that.
The funny thing about Evolution is that's why we have more Dragon Ball. Toriyama,
I really thought
Toriyama
it
was
he hated
like,
it so much. It's
it
like,
can't
that's
end
not,
like
yeah,
this.
it can't end like this. So he made Battle of Gods right after that.
I always thought Team 4-Star was actually what kind of pushed Dragon Ball.
No, it helped the midpoint between, because there was nothing for a long time.
Yeah.
The first animation we got after GT, that was Son Goku
Son
with
Goku
Friends
Friends,
returns.
right.
And that was for what, its 30th, 20th anniversary, something
And
like
that was made for Japan.
Yeah, and we could only watch it online, and then as far as I know, it still hasn't been released on anything here to this fucking day. And then after that, we got Battle of the Gods, and there's references to that special in Resurrection F still. That's the thing. Like that special, a lot of that stuff still got used, like as it got forward.
Yeah,
And,
Vegeta has a brother.
like Goku becoming a farmer and stuff, all that stuff came from that special. It's a great special, by the way. It's gorgeous.
But I'm actually with you in terms of like, it's just interesting because I feel like when they do this kind of thing, they're trying to get the best of both worlds. And it's like, hey, there's Dragon Ball fans. There's both. And then there's Z fans. And there's if you're just a super fan, kudos to you.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing to do.
I mean, 'cause there are some, right?
They exist. It's rare, but they do exist.
But
A lot
Lord
of them are younger.
like everyone knows why you do this, Toei, because that Dragon Ball cash cow gotta keep milking. Why would they give you the manga content? They can give it to us 20 years from now and say, hey, we got some new shit for y'all playing catch up.
Yeah, but most of the actors will be dead by that point. That's kind of the thing. That's the thing about Dragon Ball. A lot of people tend to forget.
I mean,
is
how many
that
people have died? Like 2 Bulmas?
we've lost 1 Bulma, 2 Mr. Satans,
King Kai can't talk
a
anymore.
couple Master Roshis, King Kai the announcer. I think we lost the Tien or something at one point. Like we've lost quite a
He's
few
not
of the Japanese
necessary
ones,
anymore,
kind of thing.
unfortunately.
And we're staring at Masako, and she's like 90 now, and you're like, oh god,
Yeah.
at any moment she could just fucking drop.
We have the same birthday, and every time my birthday rolls around, I'm like, Goku,
I'm terrified. I'm terrified the day Masako
are you
dies.
still there?
I am a firm believer there are some secret institution in Japan
That's keeping her.
that has some of these voice actresses and certain mangaka just they have some
Yeah, no.
chemicals or some because Oda don't miss.
I
He
believe
No, he does
they
not,
have
yeah.
Oda in a Bacta chamber like every day. It's like, no, you stay alive. Japan will not allow you to
No,
die.
he will not die. There's some who died on accident, and we have no idea how they did. They weren't paying attention that one day, and then we lost the Yu-Gi-Oh guy.
I bet they don't let Oda drink.
Probably not.
They're like, is that a hey? He has alcohol. Tackle him. Tackle.
Got his ass.
Is his wife smoking? Huh? We can't have secondhand smoke around him.
Can't have nothing around him.
I think Dragon Ball is the most influential anime of all fucking time. Like that's a fact. Oda himself talks about how
sure,
much
yeah.
One Piece is very much based on that love of Dragon Ball. Everybody does.
I think
Naruto
it's-
does. That guy does.
I think it's like there's when it comes to an influence perspective, because a lot of people, they'll say, because Oda, rightfully so, from a writing perspective, that's his, like, no one will ever contest that. And when it comes, and if you were to go to Japan, One Piece, I bet when it ends, it'll get that hype, like that next level elevation of what it needs.
6 years from now.
Who knows what it'll end. It's supposed to be its last stuff now, but that could last forever.
Last saga.
They worded it in a very particular. But when it comes to Dragon Ball, there's just this untouchable gap for some things that just can't hit that, because it's the starter of everything. Transformations, shit. It's why Supersonic looks the way it does. It's why Supersonic got Supersonic 2. It's the shit like it's
exactly.
It's the shit that like from transformations, from yelling, from all the things that you're just like.
It is the father of modern shonen.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah.
So
it's the grandfather of the big three. There's definitely like sort of a fence post that you can put like Astro Boy or Mighty Atom, right? Fence post, beginning of
anime
and manga and all that. And then one of those fence posts is totally Dragon Ball. Like,
yeah, 100%. That's the thing, is everybody to this day is always like, what is going to be the new Dragon Ball? Every time a new anime comes out. And then it was Naruto at one point, and then at One Piece and Bleach at the same time. Those were the three at that point.
Big three.
And then after that, it became My Hero.
No one said that.
No, everybody was saying it for a very long time.
No, because actually, I'm going to counter that point. No one compares My Hero to Dragon Ball, but what they will say is, will it be one of the new big three? Because the big three were the only things that were bringing in that level of attention.
Well, that's what I mean.
Dragon Ball could single-handedly do.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. I wasn't going to say My Hero was the only one. I was going to say it was one of the bigger ones at the time.
Yeah.
It was one of the new big ones. What were the other two at that point, by the way? There were some others at that point.
Black Clover.
Hunter Hunter, right? Was that point?
No, Hunter Hunter's in its own thing.
No, that was before that point.
It's like Berserk, where
there was something specifically, but I can't remember what it was.
So when we talk about anime spheres here, there is,
because Demon Slayer was like the one of the latest ones.
Black Clover came out around the same time as My Hero, and that's pretty popular. And then outside of that, honestly, I think it was.
I know there was one more, but I can't remember what it was.
But like when it comes to like just anime bubbles, there's the big three.
The big three era.
Yeah, the big three era. And people, so from a shonen perspective, that's actually the comparison a lot of times. Like, who's going to be the new big three? There's no new big three. There's only one big three. And then before that, you have Dragon Ball. And somewhere in this pantheon of space, you have Togashi. And Togashi can just do whatever Togashi wants because no one knows what Togashi's doing.
I will say in Spider-Mike's defense that My Hero got a lot of people into anime just because it was more digestible, because it was basically comic book characters.
Yeah, that's what helped.
I'm not disrespecting My Hero from that perspective.
JoJo's an interesting one because it has two different popularity points, and I think that's the funniest thing about it.
In the West, it was totally the memes that got people. It was the meme because I remember like
because JoJo had this like fighting game popularity for a very long time.
It did have this fighting game popularity,
and then the OVA as well, and then
it had So
and
that's
then
where
there was a giant gap, and then all of a sudden the anime just fucking exploded.
That's where I got into JoJo because of the OVAs. I remember going to Blockbuster like once I knew what anime was.
Those are really gorgeous, by the way. Those OVAs to this day, they were
really pretty.
They're just so fucking like out of nowhere kind of things that happen in them.
I still like prefer the OVA version version of Darby battle.
I'll give you that. There's a lot of really cool stuff in those OVAs.
Okay, so weird note on JoJo OVAs.
Yes.
Is there any moment more badass than like, oh, you're approaching me? And it's like, well, yeah, I can't kick your ass unless I get closer.
That sequence is so great. There's a reason Jotaro is like the most popular character in the West for JoJo.
And why he keeps coming back for like 5 arcs afterwards.
He keeps coming back every 20 seconds.
Until that.
Until
the last
happens.
3 parts. But I think that like when you think of anime popularity, there's these weird kind of auxiliary ones that
are kind of just like always there.
Like because JoJo's that type of thing.
Yeah. Fist of the North Star is one of those, I feel.
But Dragon Ball is just in its own, like you said, grandfather tier of shonen. So it's always hard to compare things to it because when you talk about an influence perspective,
everybody wants to though.
And I think it's unfair to do that.
It's super unfair to do it.
Because I don't think anything compares directly to it. It doesn't, like, you
The
know,
only things that compare directly to it are comic book related, and a lot of people don't want to hear that, but it's true.
and I'd even
Like,
say
Superman is the only other thing that I feel is in the same level of that sort of.
and
idea.
Superman sucks, but that's
You're not. You're not the person. You're not the person you wanted to have tell this to specifically. But because Superman's my favorite DC character, and there's a reason.
You can
he's
get
a
away
great
with
character.
that with everyone else in the Excellence. You might
Not me.
might-
I will
yeah.
fight to the death over Superman as a character.
well, unfortunately, he's a bad character.
He is not a bad character.
And
You've
Superman
just not
stories
read
are
Superman
trash.
comics.
Superman's.
I will say this to the end of the time. Whenever somebody says that, they just don't read Superman comics, and that's fine. I'll just leave it at that.
We can get into a comic book conversation off air because I read more than you think, and I still say Superman sucks. But I do like my adventures with Superman, and I do like
My
that
Adventures with
interpretation.
Superman's really good.
I do like that interpretation of Clark because I think my problem with Superman a lot of the times is it's the first. I
So
think.
you just like Clark in general because that's all that character is.
Well, no, I like Clark.
That character is the version of Clark that I love, which is the reason I think Superman's a good character.
I haven't
Yeah, like,
seen.
I just feel like you've never run into that before.
I mean, they don't do a good job promoting it.
That's really what
Right.
it comes down to.
Like,
You are right about that. They
like,
don't do a good
Read
job.
all of Philip Kennedy Johnson stuff, and I think you would like it.
but that's my also
'Cause that stuff's
going
great.
into the comic
All that
book
stuff
thing.
is great.
I think that's the problem. Like there's so many different interpretations of a character, and it's like cool.
If all you read was the New 52, I would 100% understand why you hated Superman.
Like and
I'm
there's
not even kidding.
and it's like and even when you like characters,
Or even Bendis is Superman, because fuck that shit. That
even
stuff
when you
sucks.
like certain characters, right? There's just never a consistent. Because look, you can not like, and I get
mean,
it. There's like sometimes
that's what makes Superman hard is that we are coming up or maybe even past 100 years of writing a comic every week.
Yeah, it's reached 1,000 issues. That's not an easy thing to do in comics. That
And
thing has been around since 1938.
and it's so tricky because you're like after a certain point, from a power escalation, from a storytelling perspective, you're like the part that I like, which My Adventures with Superman really helped me identify, was that
Yeah.
hey, that's a beacon of good dude, vibes out. And also it's just funny, charming. Yes, he's OP, but he's still figuring things out. And that was entertaining to
That's
watch.
the Superman I love. Not even kidding.
But then like, and it's the way I feel because for me, Spider-Man is my favorite superhero of all time.
He's great.
He's
my
also
all-time
going to hit
favorite.
that problem.
But he hit that problem.
He's hit that problem a bunch of times.
Where motherfucker just can't be happy, can't have nothing, can't do
do
shit,
nothing.
and then and
I
I'm
still
like,
read it though.
and I will always have that bone to pick with comic books where I think the amount of interpretations has created a discrepancy in the amount of like a true what's the true character.
Well, I will say on that note, that is why I like manga.
That is why I like manga.
Yeah.
Well,
It's why I like it, but at the same time, the issue with manga is and dubs is the reason this is an issue. Is that a lot of times dubs will want to turn them into versions of them that they are not, and that was the problem with Goku for a very long time. Is everybody's like, I love Goku's dub version. It's like because he's just Superman. Like, not even kidding. That is just Superman. Yeah. And you were just and so people were like, why is Goku acting like this? It's like, oh, you don't know Goku like the actual Goku who's
He's
just
not
like
he's actually not a good person.
he's just a redneck who likes to throw hands. That's who Goku is.
He's a country bumpkin.
Yes. He has more in common with the Dukes of Hazzard than he does with Superman.
But going back to the comics tie-in, I think part of the issue with comics and why someone might prefer manga over comics, over Western comics, is that manga is, for the most part, a singular creator.
Usually,
doing the majority of the writing. They might have assistants that help out with backgrounds or might even do a whole issue by themselves where all they did was the writing, but it's a singular vision. Whereas with Superman, how many hands has he gone through?
And that's
gone through tons.
And
some of them are the worst things I've
Sorry.
ever read in my life.
I want to see that fan art. Nimbus colored like the General Lee.
It is already pretty orange. I give you that.
because we'll circle it back to anime in a sec. I mean, yeah.
Sorry, I have a lot to talk about when it comes to Dragon Ball and a lot to talk about when it comes to a lot of things. And so when I get on Dragon Ball, I can talk about it for literally days.
no,
It's just one of my favorite things of all time.
because I think that there's something that no matter what you think when it comes to Dragon Ball, it's like at the core of its essence, that is what a shonen is. It is
Yes.
It is beat for beat. Is it? Do I think it's the best in all of its categories? Fuck no. Far from it.
It's just the first.
It's the first one. It's like the
first big
Mario
one,
of
I guess.
anime. It's the lay of the land. Mario of platform is as in for platformers.
That's a great way of putting it. Yeah.
As Goku is to anime for them. Oh, shonen in particular, because I don't like that's not applicable for all genres of
No, of course not.
But yeah, just because I actually like.
It's the
Came in
same.
strong.
It's the reason I brought up Superman, because that's the same thing Superman is too. He's not the best one, because Spider-Man is my favorite one, but Superman is the first one.
No, and Superman is that icon. So
It's the same way. That's the reason I compared them. Compared the idea.
No. It's the
same idea.
They're in terms of iconicism. It's that you're right on the money.
Exact same
there.
thing.
It's the approach with just comics in general that'll always have a bug with, and
Everybody's red and blue. And there's a bigger reason for that.
And I also, but at least with Superman, I don't have the same bone to pick as I do with the Bat dude.
Batman, oh my God, that's a whole fucking.
That's also another 100 years of stories.
And that's a problem.
There's a lot of issues I have with Batman.
But going back into anime and. Hey, we Dragon Ball. We start off this with JJK opinions, thoughts. How have things been going for y'all's watching? And actually,
what are your thoughts on the memes that are coming out from Jujutsu Kaisen? 'Cause there are so many of them.
I've been digging all the ones with Anya and just domain expansioning.
Domain expansion is one that comes up all the time, and it makes me laugh every fucking time.
No, I
People ratio people by just saying domain expansion.
I've been digging this season a lot. It's probably the anime I was most hyped for going into, in terms of renewals. And I've been doing my best to keep up with it, week to week.
it is a treat to watch week to week. It looks glorious.
It looks beautiful. Everything you said is accurate. I'm enjoying the story. It looks beautiful. I'm also loving how it's blowing up everywhere. On the chat, I shared a picture of a subway station in Chile that had, an advertisement for season 2, and it was just Gojo, without the glasses.
That's awesome.
People made a shrine to Gojo.
I heard about that.
A bunch of people who are attracted to Gojo, because I can't tell by the lip print that was left on the ad if they were male or female, but there were a whole lot of lipstick marks all over Gojo's face. There were a bunch of letters to Gojo, and the one that had me dying was after spoilers if you haven't kept up with JJK.
Anime, manga.
Anime. Spoilers if you haven't kept up with the anime. Gojo gets sealed. After that episode debuted, someone went to the subway station in the middle of the night, and they left 5 post-it notes, and they just said, "Always and forever, the strongest."
That's how he, but I think that it's incredible that, first of all, my one critique of JJK.
Gojo too strong?
No.
That's the creator's critique with.
No, I actually like that portrayal of a strong character. I don't like that wishy-washy nonsense. I like when someone's like, I'm this strong. He's confident that he's this strong. And guess what? Everyone in the fucking universe is like, we have to come up with unique ways to deal with that problem.
They created the perfect antithesis to this dude. It's Toji. They created the perfect antithesis that finds a way to get over him. And then Toji, spoilers
for this season.
Yeah.
I feel like if you guys are watching this part of the segment, you already know what's going to happen.
Yeah,
at this point, you've done it to yourself.
I just, at some point, Toji thinks he wins. After one of the most violent scenes I've seen almost all of it. I mean, there's other stuff out there.
Yeah, you got to be careful.
One of the most violent
Have you
things
watched
I've
Berserk?
seen in one of the big 3 of anime, kind of thing.
No big 3, but
Also, we're not going to talk about Batman v Superman, guys. No, none. No Snyderverse stuff. We're not talking about any of that stuff.
But so I mean, I'm just saying that like he literally stabs him from throat to calf. Mm-hmm. Like, and
Reverse Koseki.
and then he's like, "Thank you. Now I'm gonna go on this acid trip and defeat you."
Well, it's like they said,
I'm just saying, like, it's one of those moments where it's just like, well, that's this, and he is this anime Superman, but it's also kind of like, of course, that's how you handle the situation. You were like, thank you for almost killing me. I figured something else out about myself within the last couple seconds of my life.
well, actually, they do say like
That is how men learn.
curse.
That's how they're supposed to.
They're like, but I
didn't
like
learn
that
to drive until I almost died in the car.
some of the characters they haven't shown off in JJK, which they'll get to in season whatever the fuck, are ones that are in a very similar camp of like. There's one that I think you'd love that I don't think you've been introduced to yet.
Oh, I've met Toto.
No, not Toto, but everyone loves Toto. But there's
I'm
some
a really big fan
characters.
of Africa specifically.
There's there's a lot of characters. Yes, in the Culling games, which is the next arc after this. There's some characters where you're like, oh, you're just boo boo busted, and and no one, and where the fuck were you? And they explain a little bit, but it's like and Gojo alludes to characters because he says, hey, he clearly says there are these handful of people who I think can be as strong as me and or stronger, and he names them, and then you actually see what those people have named. You've seen 2 out of the 3, and Yuta does come back. No spoiler. Not. I won't say when, but he does come back. Of course, you get to see more of him. But then the third one, you're like, I'll get him. And then you see what he does, and you're like, I get him. It's so dumb. I was revisiting that part of the manga, his power is one of my favorites because you're like, this is so stupid, but like not in the. It's stupid in the fun way of like, this is just entertaining to watch.
I mean, the main character, like, his powers are kind of lame, but he's just kind of like, he can just beat the shit out of it.
You know, fun fact. Just now, why people are excited about this next chapter? We think we might be getting some more than I punch hard. We might be learning more.
He punches really, really hard. That's the difference.
He threw a car at a dude, like without breaking a sweat.
He did throw that, but that guy deserved it. And to be fair, I was actually kind of like, I was like, oh, he threw a car, but I mean, motherfucker just dropped an elephant on him. So I was like, the weight comparison here is a little bit different. Marcos, by the mic, what y'all feeling?
I mean, I'm feeling it. I'm still gonna.
I'm feeling it now, Mr. Krabs. Gosh.
No, I'm in. It's just a matter of just kind of like, everyone's like, be prepared to be really sad, and I know what's coming because TikTok spoiled it for me.
It do that.
That's why I don't have a TikTok, because also I'm very old.
I have to comment on shit that we post. No,
I get it. No, I'm just fucking with you.
But it's
Because you're actually older than I am, so that makes it even funnier.
But there's an element of just kind of like, I know where it's going, but it's just kind of like, I don't know how it's going to lead to a kind of an emotional payoff kind of thing. But that's spoilers. Other than that, I'm having a lot of fun. It's very pretty. I'm sad that we get introduced into like Toji. Toji feels like, in a weird comic comparison, to Gore, like Gore from Marvel.
I want to see where you're going with this. Continue.
Gore was really cool, but the guy that created him was just like, he's just going to be around for this arc. And they had to keep bringing him back because he was so popular. I know that's not what happens with Toji, but Toji was still very much like, this dude is too cool to only exist for like... I'm
not going to spoil anything about it. I like what happens because Toji exists. And there are characters who are inspired by that sort of presence being a thing. I'm not going to spoil anything else or anything. I don't think that gives anything away. But like, legitimately, I like where that Toji... Because at first, I was like you. I was like, they're so tight. And it's a nice dichotomy. But then what happens is you get a much cooler situation because of it. And I actually appreciate what happens
I mean,
with the Toji existing.
Well, that's the funny thing about anime is that you're like, this character is going to be around forever, and then they're like, that only showed up the one
Not
time.
in JJK. JJK, they say, we don't give a fuck about that guy. I mean, shoot, there's a guy in the last episode, the one before the one that came out today, where he's like, I gotta stick up for my kohai, and then gets his ass beat. I'm like, dog, we don't even know your name.
That's the thing I like about it, though, because it's just like, he's just like, I'm the best. You're like, the power of friendship, and go fuck yourself.
Nah, and I will say, JJK is just the most depressing of the shonen at the moment. Motherfuckers, you get into situations.
He's ruthless.
I've been on months of how the fuck do we win?
I think that's, again, I think it's what makes it interesting compared to a lot of, that's how I felt about Attack on Titan originally at one point. It was a lot of just like, how do you get out of this situation?
But I'd rather, but I'm with, like that's compelling. That's interesting.
100%.
Alrighty, moving along. I'm
I
gonna
forgot that that's something we're gonna have to talk about in our next episode.
the one.
The Attack on Titan.
Oh no, I'm not. I'm kidding.
After it was the show that got so many people back into anime, and then after 15 years, it finally ended.
The funniest thing is when I first watched that show was the episode, the last episode that was out at the time was one Eren gets eaten. And there was
the first episode.
And there was this is still the first like 3 or 4 or something like that. There was no episodes after that point when I watched it, so I didn't know what the fuck was gonna happen. And I had to wait a week, and I had to look at my friend. I'm like, what the fuck am I supposed to do now? Like, I didn't know what to do with myself.
So I'm gonna do a little bit of hip hoppy. We're gonna have one central conversation, and then we'll briefly allude to a couple things, and that's what we'll do. Cause I made y'all cram it.
This is what happens when we put off this show for a couple months.
Anime doesn't just come in the Japan flavor anymore.
No.
We have some good quality shit coming from, okay, let's be real, Netflix. But some good quality shit coming from
Record of Ragnarok. No.
Netflix. Oh, you're right. Some sometimes quality shit coming from Netflix and getting dropped by Netflix. Now, this is one that I crammed in a day. Was like, hey, yo.
It's so easy to cram.
So easy to cram. We're talking about Castlevania Nocturne. Just came out last week, this week, one of the two.
It was last week, I think.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And it has been taking the internet by storm because Castlevania, the original series, was also incredible.
It was amazing.
One of the best animated things you can watch on Netflix.
All made right here in Austin.
And
oh, shit, I didn't know that.
Yeah. I know a few people who work there.
Oh, shit.
And so to get a sequel series is incredible. And I think that Castlevania, because they don't want to do anything with the games,
You gotta talk to Konami and their pachinko machines.
has a lot of lore to dig into that I feel like they're like, oh shit, we can do this? Fuck it.
All new writer, by the way, because Warren Ellis got canceled.
Oh, shit, really?
Yeah, he's the one who wrote the original 3 seasons, or the original chunk, and then he got canceled very badly while they were making the last season.
Oh.
So we're like, hey, out that door. But give us your notes.
Pretty much.
What did he get canceled for?
Some abuse stuff for some like women stuff that he did. So it was pretty bad.
Oh, the Blizzard treatment. No.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. Which sucks because Ellis was a really good writer.
That explains why they did the Diablo 3 animation, but cool.
Yeah.
But, don't worry, Quale. We'll
But
get
Nocturne's great because it's got my favorite Belmont.
there. No,
Same.
gentlemen. Who's that Belmont? Richter. Richter. First of all,
Fucking man.
so getting into the actual story or what we enjoyed. I think JJ, you started. You want to start this one? How you fucking with Nocturne?
Castlevania Nocturne is an interesting one because it was made kind of out of nowhere for the people who made the original one, ironically enough, because the producer had no fucking idea they were making it. So I thought that was really funny. But I was very excited the second they mentioned this is a Richter origin story kind of thing, because Richter still is my favorite Belmont, because he has one of the most rich things that happened when it came to his life, more so than a lot of the other Belmonts outside of Simon.
And
Simon's the only other one who has like this crazy fucking life, where Richter was the strongest Belmont up until way later on. But this is at this point he was the dude.
And you feel that even when you play the games associated with Richter,
Yes.
because you're like, oh, he's different.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
by default he's supposed to. His whip is always at full power in the games. That's why he always
Yeah.
has the chain whip. He never has the leather whip in the games because for that very reason.
And he was the first one to have like the super move.
Mm-hmm.
right? Like,
Yes, or at least in the games.
His magic game was built
And-
different.
yeah.
And he's fucking great. And Rondo of Blood is a very hard game.
It is, yeah.
But the anime does a really good job with like building up Richter as a character. Like it starts off in a very, very dark section kind of thing, in a way that like you kind of like Richter. That was kind of your fault. I'm not gonna lie, but you pull the hot rod to her Optimus Prime. You're like, I'm helping.
If I had to pick a problem, I hate that trope.
Yeah, no, I hated that part. That was the one.
Leave!
That was the one part of the. That was the one part of the anime. I was like, come on, guys. But there's the anime is fantastic though. Like I have some criticisms. There are criticisms I have with a lot of writing nowadays, which is when somebody's like, I'm gonna say something badass, and somebody's like, wasn't that dumb? You're like, why are you saying that? Just let it sit the way Trevor did. Because whenever Trevor said some fucking crazy shit, it was badass because he never looked at the camera and was like, wasn't that wacky? Because Richter does that a few times, and you're like, man, don't do that to me.
That was going back to Trevor in the last season when he fights death. Like I was like, oh, I'm glad they didn't do like some Marvel bullshit.
Yeah, that sequence is
Oi,
amazing.
death!
But yeah, I love the characterization of Richter. I love the characterization of Maria. I love the ever expandingness of using stuff from Symphony of the Night. There's a reason Symphony of the Night is very popular, kind of thing. And I also like that it seems like the whip. It might be the vampire killer because he's always using it, and just Belmont, another Belmont character from I want to say Harmony of Dissonance. Does anybody remember which one he's from? It's a Game Boy Advance game. It was the very first Game Boy Advance game. So he's in it too, which surprised me because I did not expect him to be in it.
I like how he shows up.
Yeah, he shows up really badassly, and I really like how it's building up this story and as well as like Richter kind of becoming the guy who would face Dracula by the time it's done, and I like it a lot. And I'm glad that they've already announced that they're working on the second season currently, and I'm also
The way
glad.
it ends, it kind of.
Yeah, they would have to, kind of thing. But I'm happy, unlike some other
the same
animation
time,
shows,
it's
that they got canceled.
Netflix.
That's the thing that worried me, kind of thing, because Netflix,
Netflix has to say it. Netflix has to be like, and they have to have it in ink, and I need it out.
What's the other show that you like that it still hasn't got a season 2? The video game.
Oh, Arcane, but they take time with that.
Yeah, that's a different thing, though.
That's just a time.
Yeah, there's no way they're canceling that one because Epic is covered in money.
I will.
Right.
Right, sorry, Riot is
I will
covered in
say-
money still.
To go back to.
I was like, no.
They also got canceled.
Epic has a different thing. Yeah, they fucked up themselves. But
I'm
that's
in a
different.
boxer defense stance. I was like, okay, so I didn't play the video games.
Which ones?
Any of the Castlevania games ever.
That's fine.
That's surprising in general, to be honest.
I thought Richter was kind of annoying for most of the show. Okay, but
Well, that's part of the writing issues I had with it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So-
that's fair.
I mean, I'm on the inverse, but
In the-
that's fine.
I
in
liked
the
him a lot,
games, he's
yeah.
not.
and I
in the
get
games,
But
he
I feel
also
like he's
doesn't talk
older.
a lot.
Yeah, which is why he's not.
Yeah.
I feel like he's older in the games, though.
Well, yeah, because this is an origin through, so
This
yeah, that
is-
makes
yeah,
sense.
this-
I also actually real quick before I love that Richter's design is a fusion of both his original design and the PSP remake. Sorry, I just had to bring up the PSP
No,
remake
that's
because I
fine.
love that fucking.
That's why we
outfit.
brought you here for random tidbits like that. But I will say on a random tidbit that this show has done something that I've always wanted, and there's not a lot of it. I mean, I'm sure it happens if you watch enough fucking sci-fi shows, but whenever it comes to like fighting paranormal shit, like people are just hung up on Constantine in a way where it's just like, how can we make this different? 2 Constantines, and you get supernatural and shit like that. And it's like, I just want someone ethnic to fight all these things, and we've never really gotten it. And this show is like really heavy on it's just like, hey, here's these black people that fight all these supernatural beings. Also, weird note on that note that this is the first time that I've seen an animation where I'm like, man, they draw the white people fucking ugly in this show, and the black people are fucking beautiful.
They
They do a really good job.
So this is where I get to spin in here. Resident Black Man.
Accurate.
Let me. Yeah. It's like, everyone check.
5 check failed.
For the love of gosh,
rolled a
vampires, being of color. Thank you for acting like it's not a. And I put vampires very loosely because Castlevania vampires apparently can do some wild shit.
Yeah. Castlevania's a crazy fucking world.
But what I really like, I mean, if you go onto Twitter, there's some thirsting over some over a certain character. But I was like, wow, the designs for your characters in general, but especially giving people of color like really, really cool designs and putting it center stage and being like, this person is a badass. This person is a badass. Though, asterisk with the net. There's a lot of interesting takes that they did with it. Hey, they touched on slavery and revolution because the overarching themes about revolution. So why wouldn't you touch about a lot of the different overarching revolutions that were happening at the same time? I
did like that they tied in the actual historical Haiti revolution that was successful.
That was one of the coolest things about this anime is that they are very much willing to use the real world that was going on around them.
Yeah. Madame Bathory is a real character of history that actually did like sacrifice virgins.
And I was I think like, and the way that they portray it feels authentic because she's using and they've painted and this goes into a lot of different spaces, but they paint African how to put it, Caribbean Creole, like they treat a variety of, like she speaks Creole when she's chanting and doing, and they're referencing gods that are beyond just the basic fucking set that always apparently gets used. And you're like, all right, y'all are leaning into some of these layers and that's really, really cool. And they still did that without making it feel like it was hammered home. Fuck you, online, for making such a big deal out of it. But I knew it because I knew it anyway because a black character doing anything is too much for people.
The show is mostly about the black characters, honestly, and it's not a bad thing. I love that fact.
Oh, it's great.
But I will say that on the inverse of whatever the fuck, I didn't see any online discourse. But
I saw a bunch of it.
I'm sure
So
sure
much
it's out there
Twitter.
because
It's a lot.
People are like, black people exist? You're like, what the hell's wrong with you people?
Because Annette was not black in the original game.
Oh, really?
No.
Oh, well.
Of course not. No. Still that
was-
time.
These things have taken a lot of liberties with characters for a while, though.
That's fine. This is on two notes. This is what I want to see from my video game stuff. Have liberties, have fun, make Knuckles autistic. I'm okay with these things, but like on
He's
this,
also a feminist.
He is technically.
but on the note of this show and what happens with these characters, so I've always hated the way Hollywood kind of is just like, hey, we're doing something really dramatic. Zulu is gay, and then you watch the movie and he just hugs a dude.
No. So you didn't watch the first season of Castlevania, right?
No, I did.
Oh yeah. No, Castlevania ain't afraid. Castlevania be like, nah, you here for it?
No, that's
Everybody's
what I mean
fucking
is-
everyone for the most
is
part.
like, just to stick.
Man, there's that one part in Castlevania that's still, I'm like, y'all didn't have to do my man like this.
No, I know which part you're talking about.
Yeah, I
'Cause
was like-
what the fuck, guys?
But to,
I felt betrayed.
I did too.
I got up
was
to
very
get a
upset.
drink and then I was like, oh,
You're like, whoa.
Because it escalates so quick.
It's so fast.
Because I at first didn't love that twist, and then I like where it ends. Because I was like, oh, it was so heartwarming, and then it wasn't heartwarming.
Then it wasn't. Then it definitely wasn't after that.
but this show does the opposite of that, where it's just like, not only did we make characters black, it's just like we love these characters. We gave them very deep backstories. We took love to the fact that it's just like they're speaking Creole. Like we've learned about Egyptian gods to do all this shit. Like they've put so much work into these characters that I'm like, you're not just doing it for shock value.
Not Egyptian.
No, there's other characters in the thing. Yeah.
Yes.
It's very exciting what they've done with this timeline because there's not a lot of stuff because the fun thing about Castlevania is there's a lot of stuff, but there's also not a lot of stuff at the same time.
Yeah.
Because everything we know about Richter really comes down from when we see him from Rondo of Blood, as well as other vampire hunter stuff in general. A lot of that stuff isn't discussed that often unless it involves like
There's a
giant
huge gray
wars
area.
kind of thing. Yeah, there's a lot of gray areas kind of thing. Like the only other ones that we know about outside of the Belmonts is, you know, John Morris and his son and, you know, and their companions as well. And all of them are white as fuck kind of thing. So like there's so many places you can mess with of everyone is fighting these evil things. Why of course there's going to be people of color fighting these things too. And of course there's going to be people of color that are these things as well. It's like,
I mean, on that
that's the frustrating thing when you watch movies and stuff. You're like, why are there so few like Mexican vampires? And then when they pop up, you're like, oh, thank God, I'm cool with them dying because they exist at least.
Thank you
kind of thing.
from Dusk to Dawn.
Yeah, From Dusk Till Dawn is a great example of that. Blade's another great example of a lot of black vampires as well, kind of thing. Like, it's weird to me that there's so much media out there that just seems to forget that we exist, and I don't understand why that's happening still.
On the note of ethnic Mexican vampires, and also like what this show's doing with looking at history, it's in the first fight. I'm not spoiling too much. They fight this dude, and then out of nowhere, I'm like, that kind of looks like Quetzalcoatl, like when it turns into a thing. And then, like, 5 episodes later, it's like, oh, you're Aztec, aren't you? And I'm like, you fucking bitch.
Fucking hell.
This motherfucker.
It's great. I love it. We got representation as both good and bad, and I'm cool with this.
And
And you're not a drug dealer? I'm cool with this.
JJ, what's up?
You're right.
Me?
You like Castlevania?
Yes.
Sorry, coughing.
Yeah. I'm digging this a lot. I binged through all of it, not in a day, because I was also watching a lot of Bleach. So much Bleach. We're not gonna get on Bleach because we're really late on time, but if you like Bleach, I'm happy for you. I don't recommend watching it all in one weekend.
It's a lot of Bleach.
That's a lot of Bleach.
It is a lot of Bleach. Believe me, I need some Woolite.
That's a smart joke.
But yeah, this was sort of what I was watching in between Bleach. Every time I was like, okay, like I need a break of Ichigo doing stuff or really not doing stuff in this season. Spoilers.
Hey, okay, time out. Quick tangent.
Yeah.
I actually liked that. I was like, I like the way I love those last 2 episodes, especially.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it on another episode.
But yeah, no, this has been really fun. The one thing that I kind of like hate about us binge watching this is that there's a fucking eclipse happening in like 2 days. And
I didn't think about that.
if I was finishing it up as that eclipse was happening, I've been like, no fucking way.
That would have been amazing.
It's called a blood eclipse too, actually.
Yeah, I think it is too. Yeah.
JJ's like, it's like, JJ, why you acting like you can only go out during the eclipse? He's like, son, nah.
Where'd you get that whip, JJ? Don't worry about it.
I'm gonna go down like that one
I
dude
actually
in the
do
episode.
have a whip.
The one dude in the episode with a musket that just misses.
That poor guy. He was
I like
drunk.
that they had gun swords. Like,
Took some Final Fantasy notes.
I almost bought a whip. I wanted to buy I almost bought a kangaroo skin whip because apparently those are really fucking well made. They last forever, apparently.
Oh, these
I
whips.
dressed up as Indiana Jones like 2 times for Halloween. So
Nah,
that's
there's
why
a
I have the
source.
whip. Yeah.
I actually did a Belmont like years and years ago when I was a lot skinnier. I had an Indiana Jones like whip, and I was like, I'm just gonna be a Belmont. Fuck it.
Yeah.
To go into some critiques, because I think this show is filled with strengths. I think I'm different on Richter than most. I guess.
Well, they love Richter, so
Yeah, I like-
I love Richard, but I have issues with his writing style. Kind of thing, yeah.
I liked that he was.
Especially his dialogue.
I would like that he was quippy, but you could still tell he was very endearing. That was a nice touch because
Yeah.
I was like, he's quippy to a point. Thinks he's like, but he doesn't think he's. I don't think he was full of himself, which was nice. He was
Well,
like,
I love the moments where he just goes silent because he's just thinking of just something fucked up at
Right,
that
yeah.
exact moment. And then he says something quippy, and then they're just looking at him like, "Are you okay?"
Yeah, he literally wakes up from a dream and he's like, I wasn't paying attention anyway.
When he gets that power up, that was one of my favorite moments when he's like, "You forgot one thing about a Belmont," and then like he does all this cool shit, and then he's like, "I was gonna say something clever." Fuck it.
I mean, my issue is that it's 8 episodes, and for 4 episodes, Richter doesn't really hit very well, like with his quips. But there is something in the first episode where he's just like, "That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard."
That's a great way to introduce him. Because he looks so, like you could see him like a little smug. You could see him, but you see him confident. Then he opens his mouth, you're like, he's not just a badass.
I love that he just doesn't really know what's going on too half the time. Like when the night creatures show up, and he's like, "I don't know what the fuck's happening."
I mean, like all Belmonts, he's like, or at least in the show, he's like, "Hey, I'm kind of dumb. Someone else come up with the plan and tell me what it is."
That's the fun thing about Belmonts. A lot of people don't realize is Belmonts are crazy people.
Yeah.
Like my favorite. That's why I love Simon so much, because Simon is just batshit insane. Like he's just like
He went out and gathered all of Dracula's
he
power.
beat up Dracula, and then afterwards he's like, "No, I want to do that again," and then like fought people to the death to beat up Dracula again for the fun of it.
He said, "Hey, I'm gonna get that run back." But you won the first.
I love him. I love him to death.
He gathered all of Dracula's bones like they were the fucking Dragon Balls.
Yeah.
Just to bring him back and to do that again.
And then there's the fighting
Run it
game
back.
when all time displaced, and he looks at Trevor and he's like, "I want to beat up my great ancestor because I want to see if I can." Like, Jesus Christ, Simon, calm the fuck down.
But one thing on the writing side, and I know I said critiques. One thing I want to give a quick shout out to. This could have gone a very different way in terms of, because sometimes they like to write a strong woman character to be how do I put it, like Amber from Invincible, where you're like, "Oh, you're just being difficult for no reason. He's going through something." Let him live.
okay.
But then, like, I like the basis. Oh, yes, this could have gone a lot of directions.
It really could have.
I thought you were talking about Mary Sue's, but
No.
I'm cool with Mary Sue's.
It's more so.
I'm
Depends
a
on the
Superman
context.
fan.
Well, I meant like I never liked Ray.
No, I know what you mean, yeah.
Star Wars.
Well, Ray's a different thing.
But in this case, right, I like how you're like, she's pissed off and thinks Richter's weak. And she's also a runaway slave, so you can't get mad at her. You're like, I get why you like.
You've had a really terrible life. I can't really be upset about you being mad about him.
Like, she's like,
Also, you're badass as fuck too, so you might have a point.
she literally is like, I've been through this
Bitch
shit.
ran away.
Bitch ran
That dude
away.
fucking left. He fucking pulled a Joseph Joestar.
That's why that shit's so funny. It's like, yeah, bro, he took
He just
off.
fucking bolted.
Hey, and I also go, damn, I really do have a lot of positives. I do like how another character responds to a situation. He's like, hey, okay, fuck this. Just read the book.
I really laughed at that too.
It's like, he literally is like, he does the whole, and he's like, all right, fuck it. I get it. Just read the book.
I'm not gonna fight you, bro. Just read
He's like,
the
dude, I'm
fucking
not
book."
here for that. Like, I'm just gonna go. If you're gonna be difficult about this, I'm just gonna go.
I'm helping. He's like, we have mutual interest. But yeah, I would say this is actually one of those rare cases, which I don't usually give. I think it needed just an episode or two to breathe.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
100%.
It's happening way too fast.
It goes so fast, and each episode's like what, 30 minutes at most.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a very short time frame.
It needed a little, because I was going through it and I was like,
Basically a movie.
it's basically actually it's basically a movie when it had the space to go a little bit longer, which is weird because Castlevania, this is probably the most episodes it's got, if I'm not mistaken, out of the seasons. Usually they keep them short anyway. First season was like 3 episodes, the second season was like 4.
Well, the first season was very much a movie as well, but that one each one was like an hour. So like it was breathing still, kind of thing. And the other ones, those were long enough that it was just like a series of different stories. I don't know why these felt so short. That was weird about it. Because they were just so fast. I was
think
confused
it's
by
because
it.
in the original.
Thank you, Tina Chiha, for being
Thank you.
Excellent.
Miss Excellent.
What?
Miss Excellent. Excellent.
Excellent is genderless.
No. What I mean by that is she's the number one donator.
Oh, she is.
That's like Miss Universe, Miss Maxlin.
But I think it's because in the original series they were pulling from not a lot, but they were pulling at least from 2 different games. Like
Yeah, they
were
pulled from
pulling
3, and what was the other one? It was
like
a 64
Lament of
one, right?
Sorrow or something. It was one of the like
It was the one with
PS2 era games.
It was the one with Hector in it, or
Yeah.
whatever.
Well, I guess 3 then, because I know.
Yeah, it's
that-
3 for sure.
What was the other one then?
I do not.
I think I know it was for sure one of the, like the PS2 era.
There's some
games.
Symphony of the Night stuff in there too.
There is a little bit of that, but all the stuff with like the Forge Masters, that's from like one of the PS2 era games.
That's the one with Hector in it. That's where that
Okay,
one's
then,
from.
Then yeah, that's what I'm talking.
Because that one takes place like right after 3. Because Trevor's in that too.
Yeah,
And I think with this one, as you're going on, right? Like,
it's like it's an origin story for Richter, so we're kind of we are pulling some stuff.
It's got some symphony in it. It's got some harmony of dissonance because I
Curse
mentioned
of
Just.
Darkness,
in
thank
it.
you.
Curse of Darkness. That was the one I was thinking.
Candy of Duo.
But it's still very much its own thing because a lot of the stuff that happens hasn't really happened. Because I'm wondering I'm wondering when if it'll even go into Rondo of Blood eventually, or if it'll just be
'Cause
a whole
Lord knows,
origin
I
for a
think
long
that might
time.
just be the capstone, like where
We're
ends.
done.
because I don't know.
Because that's the thing. Because that was the tricky thing about the last one is it just does Castlevania 3, and then it's almost its own thing for a while.
Yeah.
But it's like again, it's still taking from other games at that point. Still,
I don't know if they're gonna do. I don't know where they go because I think they're gonna do Nocturne. I don't know if Nocturne's going to. I don't think it is, but I'm assuming Symphony will get its own thing, but not really. To end off, what I did like was to end off on a positive. There is a. Spoiler alert. When an Alucard shows up, I like that. That is 100% Symphony
That is
of
the
Night.
biggest spoiler.
yeah. But it's still again like all this stuff. Still, there's clearly not an ending at this point, so it's just gonna keep going. Aria of Sorrow. I wouldn't mind Aria of Sorrows.
That'd be a
being
cool,
adapted.
like, just totally.
You want to know what I would love to see? Because I think it would be funny as hell. Is the Dracula that happens in the Castlevania timeline? Because a lot of people forget this. Is that the book of Dracula is part of the Castlevania timeline? It's just that certain characters don't die, and so I would like to see that because I think it would be really funny. I think it would be really funny to see Dracula get his ass beat by a Texan. That's really what it comes down to.
That is my favorite fun fact about
I
Dracula.
love that about that. It makes me laugh every time I think about it. Because John Morris is also Texan too. So like later on.
And his descendant shows up in like the 64 game, right?
No, he's a DS game one. Well, no, because there's the Sega one, which is John Morris, and then there's the DS one, which is Jonathan Morris.
Okay.
So, but they're both like his like descendant.
I know I slept on a lot of the DS ones, and
I love the backstory with them and the vampire killer specifically because it explains so much as to how the vampire killer works for people who are not Belmonts, and I think that's fucking fascinating.
for a while I know that the handheld Castlevanias were like peak Castlevania. Like
Yes.
It's also the end.
DS ones are really, really good.
The DS one has the end of the original timeline too. By the way, most people forget that too. Dawn of Sorrow is the end of the original Castlevania timeline because Dracula doesn't come back because you are Dracula technically.
Spoilers! No,
Because that's what Aria of Sorrow is. Just the one right before that. It's when he finds out, and then the one after that is just them trying to force him to become Dracula. He's like, I don't want to do that, but I found this gun because that was like one of the few
who needs
times
to
where
be
guns
Dracula
happen.
when you have a gun?
Yeah, that was the funny thing about Soma. He's like, I can use guns. That's kind of neat. You know what they've never done to this day? They've never done the War of 1997.
Huh.
Never been adapted. That's the thing. That's when Julius finally defeats Dracula, and then he gets amnesia right after that. They've never adapted that to this day.
Candy Duality is like my sage. She knows. John Morris is in Sega.
Yes, he
Is
was
in
the Sega one.
Yeah.
And he's luckily you can now play it because he used to be really hard to find.
Yeah, it was.
But now
for a
it's in
while.
that Sega thing, and then now it's in the Castlevania collection. So it's much easier to play now. It's also pretty fun.
I know Rondo of Blood was in that kind of like void for a while, but now it's
that one was
now
very
they
much in
post
that
a void.
void.
They got a lot of options for Rondo.
Thank
Yeah,
fucking
yeah.
Christ.
I have like the dual pack that comes.
Rondo
with
Blood's an interesting because there's
Symphony
Dracula
and
X.
Rondo, yeah.
And they're supposed to be the same storyline, but they're like completely different games.
Very night and day.
Night and fucking day. They're both very hard.
But
Dracula's X is
I'm
much
in level
harder.
2 in Rondo.
I'm on the pirate ship. That's where I
as far
stopped.
as I'm getting.
you don't want
As
to play.
soon as that fucking werewolf shows up at the,
You don't want to play your Souls
like,
games.
I'm dead.
I'm trying to kill death. That's where I'm at right now. That's the last place I stopped on both the PSP remake and the re-release I have now.
I
Well,
have the PS4
gentlemen.
re-release, and I'm like, that's
where I
that
stopped.
Axe Knight kind of fucked me up.
Well, I appreciate the dialogue on this one, and we hit 3 topics.
Well, let's bring up One Piece before we leave.
No.
Everybody's wearing the shirts. Is it a good show or not? Just say yes or no.
Yeah, oh,
Yes.
actually,
Then there, we're done.
cool, fine. Go around the room. Better than I thought. Yes.
Way better than anybody expected.
Yeah, better than it has any right to be live action.
Go and watch the real shit.
It has the best stretchy animation of anything I've ever seen.
That's fair.
I'll say this: if you know someone who's been on the fence, or someone that just doesn't like anime and is like, I'm not gonna watch cartoons, sit them down, have them watch an episode or 2 of the live action. If they're into it, that's their entry point.
You know, what's
I've
funny
had people
is
tell
this-
me that they like it more than anything they expected.
On the opposite end, like I had someone like get into the anime like just recently, and then she was like, "I watched the show and I hated the show."
Well, that's for you guys to decide. But
Also, Brazilian Luffy. I'm happy with this.
he's called out the races for a long time, and I'm glad that he followed through on all of them. Actually,
Yeah, a lot of people forget that Oda actually has a list of like what he thinks their
Of their
ethnicities
ethnicities
are,
are, yep.
and that's what they went off
Did,
of.
did they say Arlong was black from the beginning?
No, but
I think
the
that's only
fishmen
one
are
I-
black coded 100%.
They
Well, showed up in
absolutely
J's though, and I said, "All right, Arquan, let's get out of here." But thank you guys for joining us for a lovely Animexcellence. This one went
3
really
hours.
long, and
It went off the rails pretty quickly.
but it's just because there was so,
The title of it. What the hell did you guys even talk about?
honestly to
Anime.
It's for key.
it's for key. We talked about video. It's 2 shows: video games and then anime.
Video games and anime.
Oh,
We talked about Dragon Ball for a while.
Dragon Ball.
Dragon Ball,
games and
Jujutsu Kaisen, and Castlevania.
Sammy, what are you talking about? What's the title? Title thing, Animexcellence.